have done really well in the past, just like in the last couple of like Queen's Cup, things like that. They were showing up. They were not getting to top spots, but they were relevant in the conversation. So I do want to see how they stack up today.
Yeah, and I mean, with how well the competition ended up shaking out last week, and some of these other new teams that are also coming into the fold that we will get eyes on as we start to load into our maps here again. Just same format as last week. If you didn't join us, I'll tell you about it right now. We're going to be playing 2 matches on Storm Point, 2 on World's Edge, and then 2 more on E District. We'll see a little bit of a variation in the play styles from map to map, but not too much of one because yeah, the meta is kind of ironclad right now. It only really deviates based on the play style of some of these teams.
Yeah, some of these teams like to run a little bit more off of the caustic, especially in women's comp. We've seen a lot of teams not favor the caustic, which has surprised me because I think that that character is really, really strong. We've seen some crypto. Bangalore has obviously been relevant. I think a lot of teams are kind of still leaning heavily on the altar because there is just a lot of experience as of late on that character as well. We are going to be restarting here real quick to get ourselves into a another match. Did not get everybody loaded in, but yeah,
Got more time.
with no
Yeah.
bans, with no bans now, everybody can kind of lock in on what they're good at.
Yeah, and then we'd actually kind of see like that clash of styles, like you said, teams locking in
Mhm.
on what they're good at. Some of these teams, like you said, that are going to play a lot more aggressive. Keep your eyes on Solus to be one of those teams. They like to play a lot of that Bangalore altar, and I forget what the third. I think it might have also been Ash. Leveraging both of those like in and out escape tools. They want to play super aggressive and kind of that more edge style, and rack up the KP, get themselves into the end game, and then just frag out. And then you'll see the other teams, like you said, that are probably going to be still playing the Bangalore, but also with the caustic, and they're going to try and play a little bit more slow and defensive, hold themselves up. No matter which way you're playing, though, expect a composition that could outsmoke Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, there is going to be smoke in one way or another. I don't know why that one caught me off guard so much. But
Dang.
we're gonna be seeing the Bangalore. We're gonna be seeing the caustic. Nobody's gonna see a damn thing today. It is going to be a silly, silly time,
I
and it's
think I
also
miss.
going.
I think I miss my digi threats. I
Yeah,
think I
no,
miss my
like
digi
actually.
threats.
So here's the thing, and I've talked about this too. Is like digi threats existing in this meta would just make the problem worse because
Worse,
it would be
yeah.
the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. If you have a digi threat, you get to shoot like for free. If you don't have a digi threat, you get shot by the teams that have digi threat.
I probably should have thought before I said that because yeah, and not only that, it's like if you have a Bangalore and you get yourself to a bin, you pretty much just get a digi threat.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's no longer like waiting for craft. Oh god, remember what it was like craft like digi threat in the crafter week and like
Oh my god.
everybody had a digi threat and it was just
Yeah.
a nightmare. Those like week to week metas. Nowadays at least things are a little bit more stagnant and they're not stagnant, static, and there is a little bit more variation in the ways that things
Mhm.
shake out, which I think is good. It's just it'd be nice to have a break from the smoke for a long time.
Yeah,
Maybe we
yeah. Yeah, I'm hacking up a lung at the amount of times that I have seen the Bangalore, and now the caustic does not help very much either. So I do think it'll be I'm curious to see just how many teams are not gonna run Bangalore because I think the caustic we've talked about how some teams just don't want to run him. But Bangalore seems like kind of the objective pickup here, at least in the current meta. And I do think there are some teams that are going to still shy away from her.
I think for the most part, like most teams are going to want to try and play Bangalore though, just because she's always been that jack of all trades. There's so much versatility in how you can use the smoke grenades for rotations. The fact that she's an assault legend, she's always going to be stocked up on ammo. She's always going to be able to shoot. She can always direct the fight however she wants, and she still has one of the best ultimates in the entire game. And it's how this game's been out since like when, like 2016. We're going on almost 10 years or so, and it's still one of the strongest. It's kind of crazy. I wouldn't expect either team to, or not either team, any team to leave her at the door, especially if they want to try and play that edge style, because they're going to be some of those teams that are really aggressive. They want to play really confident. They want to be able to move freely about the cabin, and there's no better way to do that than just, well, someone's eyeballing us from afar, drop a smoke in the window, and now they can't see a damn thing.
Yeah, dropping a smoke on them as well, just to make sure that they can't see anything right now. But the Bangalore, I think, as well as being able to delete those traps on top of everything else that the Bangalore is capable of doing, is just going to be really, really strong. I know a lot of teams wanna run Ashe, a lot of teams wanna run Alter. Bang, Ashe, Alter has been a common pickup here. I don't remember which team specifically, but I do know there's a team that does like to go for the Lifeline specifically as well, which does mix things up at least a little bit.
Yeah, there are a lot of teams that, especially in those defensive kind of compositions where the third legend is kind of like up to dealer's choice because, you just want to play with whatever you think is going to suit your composition the best. So, you can throw the altar in there as well. But for those more aggressive teams, whatever gives you that like pseudo second life as often as possible. And that's one of the things that Lifeline has always been one of the best at, especially once she got that rework and became so much easier to get some of these crazy reses off. Her ultimate actually became useful in the middle of a fight where you can have these big dome shields. It's yeah, like I can see it. I can see the strength of a Lifeline in one of those aggressive edge style compositions. You could probably use that even in place of, the Ashe if you couldn't think of a better third legend to play. I'd probably still stick with the Ashe just so you have the way to actually get completely out, but hey, I don't hate the idea of going with like Bangalore Alter Lifeline, and then you just make sure that you have the Lifeline there to go for the pickups after you bring them back through the Void Nexus, or just have the Doctrone there for the heals. Again, after you go for the recall, like help everybody get out and then get back into the fight a lot quicker.
Yeah, it's that alongside too. We haven't even touched on Sparrow, which I know a lot of teams are going to be going in, hoping to run as well. We are getting finally into game here. We're hitting our drops. Stormcatcher currently open as well as Northpad, so going to be taking us over towards the southern side, it seems.
Yeah, and some of those teams, like you said, that are going to be identifying that North Pad's kind of open. You have Ice and Sky heading on over there, while Sierra's over there by Lamborghini playing up those eggs there just underneath the wall. These are a lot of teams that are going to get some really good high loot locations and are going to need to get on out and get moving. There's still a lot of variations for where the ring could land. Like you say, it looks to be pulling a little bit more southern, but it's not as predictable as it once was. We still could get it landing somewhere kind of like near command center, over kind of near Stormcatcher. Realistically, there's still a lot of possibilities, and I think, it's fine to just take some time, loot up. You don't have to rush anything. You want to make sure you get off on the right foot. This is only map 1, so we don't gotta go too crazy just yet.
Speaking of rushing, Legacy, who dropped at Mill, seem to be grabbing and going right now onto the team near Bean. So they are going to be trying to put some pressure down. They have scanned and look to make a move, as we do see in Cascade. Solus also getting into a fight here. Eva going to do some damage, but Techni has to back away, has more people in front, does get the knock onto Envy. That is addicted in front of them, and they should be able to get that full kill. So Envy gone for good, and Solus able to pick themselves back up.
Now, these are two of the teams that I wanted to highlight here, and an interesting composition playing coming out here from Solus. Like we said, a very aggressive composition. We were talking about the Lifeline. They're going for the Newcastle instead, which, while he doesn't really have the heal ability on a map like Stormpoint, he actually could come into play in the end game, because that castle wall is, once upon a time, that was the meta, was you would set up the castle wall wherever you needed the cover and just play from there. Solus have the opportunity to set up their own like personal little home base.
Yeah, also seeing them run here, I'm a little surprised to see them running the Wraith over the Ashe specifically too, because Wraith generally hasn't been played unless Ashe has been unavailable. The general like state of things has been everybody plays Ashe till she gets banned, then you get one game of Wraith until she gets banned.
I don't hate it though, because I almost feel like the Ashe might be kind of redundant if you're kind of prone to using the Ashe ultimate as an escape tool, because you have the Void Nexus, which kind of works the same but better. You can use it basically from anywhere as long as you turn around and look at it, and then you still have the Wraiths use a portal for rotations, and that kind of stays there, so you'll know if something is safe, and you don't have to just kind of all in off the back of an Ashe rotation. It's going to be a little bit more difficult to try and confirm some of these kills with the Wraith as it would be with an Ashe, but still, if you can get it done, then I don't hate it. And let's have a look now on the other side of things. Angelite, this is our winning team from the last week. This is another team that we want to keep a close eye on, see if they can keep that performance up to code as they were. Ellie was having some crazy plays last week, and I'd like to see that trend continue.
I likely will. Ellie has been on top of her game for a bit now and will be driving her team over 2 mil. Now, this is where we saw Legacy start off and then quickly make their move over to Bean. So there are some moving parts going on here, but does seem like Angelite are just going to try and grab what they can. Although it's now they're going to be just jumping back in, trying to move forward here and see if they can find some fights. I think more than anything, they want to find an Evo cache so they can get themselves on blue shields.
Speaking of Ellie, that's your aim coach, right? Like she's been helping you help train you up.
I
I
I
I, I
wouldn't say
think you.
Ellie's my aim coach specifically. There's somebody else that's been helping me a lot,
All right.
but Ellie has helped here and there. Yeah,
Okay, I'd imagine. And there you go. There's that Evo cache they needed, got themselves up to blue shields. You definitely want to be don't want to be showing up all dressed in white to a brawl here, especially when you're playing. I want to say when you're playing this edge style, but their composition kind of feels a little bit more tailored towards playing in zone with the Watson. Like this is going to be an interesting look coming out from them. But after last week, I've already learned to trust this team. They've got the Trident for the quick rotations. Maybe they're just trying to scavenge whatever they can. Maybe didn't feel like their loot game was the best coming out of drop. So country girls got to make do.
I also know too, just offhand because we're not seeing anything happening right now. Ellie is very capable on this Trident too. I've watched her play in a melee only
Cool.
uh specifically melee only round of Apex, and she was using the Trident to cut people off so her teammates could punch them to death. She's very
That's
very aware of how to use this Trident well.
that is diabolical. Let's have a look now at Clean, who definitely feel like they could probably use a Trident right about now to get on out there. As we're gonna see Incept falling early on there. Smoke Grenade did come out, so it might be resible if Clean can get on down there, but you've seen the altar portals coming on into the wall. Lena knows that there's a threat lurking. It's gonna wait out those nades. Nothing's coming yet, and we're not even quite sure who this team is fighting, but if it's ghosts, those ghosts got hands.
Alters portals just to get some scan info here. Incept pulled back up, but they do not have a support legend, remember, so they're not going to get those heals. Takes a little bit of time to reset, and Incept doesn't have time to work with here. Going to get knocked. Oatmeal Cookie does get one knock, gets a little bit of the skirmisher health back, but a lot of this is going to be on Lena to be able to finish this off. Misses the PK shot. Going to jump back over and get the teammate back up after the shield bat here. Clean holding on for right now. It is Lady Pexy that falls. That is Addicted.
And Oatmeal Cookie looking pretty clean there with that Peacekeeper. Just as sweet as any other cookie,
Ooh.
though. Oh, getting picked up from on high, though. That's definitely not the place you want to be right now. It's going to be another bat forced out. Clean might be able to take this reset and get on out here, but the ring is closing. They're towards the edge of it. They're not cut off, and they will be chased by whichever this team is. We can even see this team might even be a little bit split, because some of this damage is coming in from the low ground, as a matter of fact. It could be two teams, and Lena, I don't know if we're sure enough just yet to commit on either way. All I know is we got to move.
Yeah, this is a really awkward spot. Look where the ring is pulling. It's right next door, but you gotta go a long way around to get there. So it's gonna be an awkward move unless they get going now, and I think Clean do realize that, so they're gonna start moving before that ring gets on the way. It is a small choke point to worry about too. Legacy right now in the middle of a fight in Jurassic. They're going to be backing away here as they have been scanned.
You can even see, the top of your screen, 20
Oh,
squads still left, despite some of these knocks coming through, despite this big damage, and despite a few confirmed kills across the board. Everyone's playing more or less carefully. Legacy want to be the first ones to make the fireworks start to fly, so we're going to see that Bangalore out coming out, the creeping barrage, to zone and try and make space as they start their forward march. And Izzy turns right back around the
right,
other way, and
backwards march.
yep, backwards march. All right,
It's
we're back to February, as a matter of fact.
it is a very very high uh high execution maneuver.
That kind
to
of
be
goes
able
to my
do
point, though, is like even using that Bangalore ultimate and kind of posturing yourself like you want to take a fight. In the end, it's only just to run. So Map 1, and everyone is playing super carefully. As we go through our series today, maybe that'll change and teams will get more aggressive, but at least initially, a lot of these teams seem a little bit averse to taking any real risk.
I mean, yeah, look at up in the upper right, 20 squads, 60 people. We've lost a couple. There's been some KP picked up, but everybody's been rezzed. Everybody is back on the field right now. Lust, maybe not going to be back on the field for too long, as we do see Renee get knocked. Jace healing up with the caustic barrels inside. And we'll be able to get that res, luckily enough.
Yeah, just another situation where these teams playing extra careful here, but you can only be so careful for so long. Now they're trapped in this box with nowhere to go. The damage coming out, and Lust is going to be the first to fall as NG Skoden, a team that I wanted to see come up huge last week, is finally going to make their presence felt.
And taking out Lust as well, who finally had a strong showing last week after a couple of struggles, is a big deal. Skoden now able to take down a top contender and get some KP, get the ball rolling. We see Boobies has also fallen in the kill feed, so 2 squads out immediately.
Got Lick Moons over here. It's another one of the new teams that you highlighted. We're looking to see if any new challengers want to step up to the forefront, make a name for themselves. And there's another interesting team that, by the way, like you mentioned, the Lifeline. Some of these teams are coming to the forefront with it, and it might be paying off for these teams that want to play a more aggressive style. And speaking
Angelite.
of aggressive styles, yeah, that's going to be Angelite, a team that was a little bit averse to those aggressive styles, like to play things a little bit safe, may have stepped on a rake somewhere.
An early exit for 2 of our stronger teams here. A wild way to start off week 2. BBS.
We still have a couple of heavy hitters in the lobby though. We know Solus is still in the fray,
Yep.
as well as NG Skoden, and Legacy is still on the prowl as well. So, for some of these newcomer teams, they might not exactly be safe just yet, but they've already made something of an impact.
BBS right now playing slow, scanning. Skoden doing exactly the opposite. They are taking damage inside the ring right now. They are holding out. I believe another team is gatekeeping them right now. They are trying to find a way to stop taking this damage. Do get a big chunk of damage on the team inside. R9 is singing from Exodia, but can't get the knock. Can't get inside the building either, and Exodia will fall. Skoden down to 2 members. Ren also falls. Adil left alone to save the day. Does get 1 knock. Has to turn around and get a couple more here.
I think enough damage might have already been done by the rest of the team, though. Adil is set up for success here. Also has the purple shield, so no one's really going to be able to come in and take her out right now. Should be able to get this res off as well with the cover of the caustic barrel. So NG Skoden are going to be staying in this one as we see the barrels popping, the damage coming through, the crack coming through on both sides, and Adil might be able to get the finish off here, but no, like a thief in the night, just making their presence felt and running off. Adil is going to be left wondering.
That is Addicted. Addicted did go out. So they are gone entirely. And as another strong team, huge PK shots coming out from Squatched. Knocks 1 immediately off the fight. Another 108, but the rest of the team isn't there. Brianna is down below, not ready for the fight, does not have the shields. Gonna drop down, get another knock as the rest of the team looking on here. They're trying to find that last member. Brianna does not have shields, does not check her corners. And Kant will take them down. I don't think they're going to last too much longer there, though, as Dexian will fall. And Kant will be gone as well.
Gonna be wrong place, wrong time for both of those teams. We had Brianna nearly making the hero play there, finding that knock, just waiting for the bodies to come rolling right on through that altar TP. But yeah, gets cleaned up there, like I said, by Kant, but on a sliver of HP, you ain't getting out of that alive. Licks, get their licks in. And now as we have a look over on Phantom here.
Phantom feeling a little bit of pain right now. Allie already down to about 40 HP, no shields. We'll heal back up just a bit. Ring continuing to close as we are on 13 squads. Non looking on with the Hemlock, not going to hit any shots. Does get a couple, little bit of chip damage. But Phantom feeling like they are in a very strong position right now with their high ground. Don't want to jump down just yet.
Well, they were in a very strong position, but as we ticked on over to ring four, round four, have a look at that ring pull all the way down the hill. So they are going to have to give up this high ground eventually. The question is going to be when. Only they know when is going to be the best time to do it. But you can even see there's a couple other teams in their way and another big one waiting right there at the bottom of the slope with arms wide open, ready to come and pick them up if they dare take that zip line down.
It's definitely not going to be a zipline angle, probably trying to slide, but with teams on both sides and down at the bottom, it is a rough rotate for Phantom. Skoden, in the middle of another fight here, Exodia has fallen. They will be able to get the res as Ren peeks up above to try and find out where the shots were coming from. Exodia back on her feet. Skoden will reset just fine. They also need to get moving, though, because they are still outside this ring.
And they're gonna rotate around it and try and take a fight with whatever team it was that knocked Exodia there. You could even see, they were like you said, they were trying to find out where they ran off to, and I think they may have not found them, but did find out that they are in a rough position and they definitely don't want to stay there. So
Ooh.
into the ring, it's going to be okay. Yeah, Reticent has the invisibility cloak, didn't get spotted there, but is absolutely going to go on the chase and has found the perfect angle to get all this RE45 damage in.
Yeah, but can't find them. The smoke cuts them off. Skoda not able to get any finishes here. Can't even get the shield crack. Does finally get one, and NG Skoden. The caustic gas is starting to tick up. A deal falls. Reticent, no shields, goes down as well. And Exodia, left alone, throws down the altar portal to try and get Reticent back over to at least become a duo, but incoming is Soulless, who are looking for the kill. They smell blood in the water, and they're gonna make their push.
Yeah, and I mean, I was wondering if Solus was in the neighborhood when I saw that castle wall. It might not have been theirs, but they were close by nonetheless, and Skoden are gonna get cleaned up there with a little bit of stray damage coming out from Kyrie, and Solus suddenly are in a prime position as Yoimono are gonna be the next to fall, dying out, bleeding out to the ring here, and Meowth are likely gonna be the next to fall. The ring is claiming so many casualties right now, even Antidote isn't gonna be able to make it out alive.
Licks, Antidote, Meowth lose a member in Sierra. And they will heal up in the corner, but there is not a great way out of this one. Gonna drop down the lifeline ult just to get this revive off because it is still so populated in this area. Meowth, though, will reset just fine. They're gonna be looking now to try and make their way up, but look at the angles they have to play with. They are looking uphill the entire way.
That was a shot on white armor, though. So there is a team in this mix right now, or at least one player that has not got their Evo game on lock. They definitely have some makeup work to do here. No Magic are in a pretty good position, though. They're going to have to come out of this building eventually, as the ring will not accommodate their stay for very much longer. Airbnb, you got to clean up and get yourself out of here before long. But right outside the door is what seems to be, at least to my eyes, an early contender for a potential god spot, if not directly above. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of people that want to try and take this spot from you. They're going to be trying to peek in through your windows, doing a little bit of window shopping. Soulless are going to be one of those teams looking to try and make a play for what they think is going to be the god spot, and they have the castle wall to make it so.
Will set down a little bit of cover, a really good rotate from Solus, getting in where they absolutely should not have been able to. P20s from Creed, not going to land. The nades are going out as well. There's a lot of pressure being put down in Solus. Even if they're not getting the kills, they're claiming this spot for their own.
Yep, and they even have the Wraith portal there as well if they need to get out, but looks like this is exactly where they want to be nestled in for the time being. They know they're safe for at least the duration of round 5. We do know that Phantom will not be, as we've already lost 2 here, and this is going to be a rough time to be able to get the res.
They able to pick up both the banners thanks to the altar passive, but Phantom very unlikely to be going very much further here. As caustic barrels abound alongside this ring as it continues to close. Quieto, a team that we have not seen too much of today, are set up on the bottom of this hill, looking out with the 30-30. But
Maybe they found
Quieto,
the tiniest corner inside that building that is safe, and that's where she's going to stay, at least for now. Quieto were on the hunt, but are going to be content to just let that one go in favor of this position. As now we're in the final ring, we're going to see that pull coming out eventually. Solus are in a really strong position right now if they can get out the door once this building no longer becomes accommodated. This last ring pull is going to be coming right out to the center, so everybody inside the buildings is going to be coming out to play. But whose
Oh,
house is this one going to be? Right now it's
oh,
Solus's, and Sky gets knocked there, so it very well stay that way.
Techni hitting crazy shots with the triple take, using it like a shotgun, does get Sky down. Solus now looking for more, but cannot find more members. They have to get out of here, though, and this is the big problem. They do not have a way to get out through that window. They've got to fight their way out or use a Wraith port to get themselves into a better position.
That's exactly what they're going to do. Crest step going on in, like you called out before. This is that IGL, and this is a great spot as well, nestled right underneath that wall, which is where you want to be. If the God spot is on top of that wall, you can drop your castle wall here. You're gonna have to worry about
Kyrie's
grenades
down.
potentially coming out from on high. But yeah, Kyrie is down. One person got left behind here.
Oh, they did find a straggler. Sierra actually goes down. Kree will watch her teammate get picked up. Kyrie still on her feet. Kyrie does get a knock here, and it will be Meowth gone, but at the cost of the Newcastle. Solus limping their way across the finish line here.
That's worst case scenario because they used 2 ults to try and make that happen. If they can't get that position that they want, then they just invested everything and they got nothing in return. 5 squads left, no magic, are in a really strong position here. This is one of those teams from last week again that had the potential to do
Look at the
great things, but came up a
caustic
little bit
gas.
short. Yeah, caustic gas all over the place. Solus is going to be eliminated. Lick Moons might be next on the chopping block.
Moon's not looking good. There's no way out from the caustic acid. It's going to knock before even the shields are gone. Moons are out. Kieto pulling Cam back on her feet, down to 2 squads. Phantom have been eliminated. Kieto still alive, but bleeding out fast. They've got to take this fight on all angles, and they have completely run circles around their opponents. 1 member left in Cam. Can she get the final shots with the PK? Gets the knock, and Kieto win game 1.
That was an 84 perfectly triangle-shaped hit marker there. It doesn't get much more pinpoint accurate with the Peacekeeper than that shot right there. And I gotta be honest, like, I kind of feel a little bit of what Hal was talking
Oh.
about after watching that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that felt a little bit like, ooh, all right, this thing might need a little bit of tweaking, but I don't know if you're going to be able to take it out of Cam's hands here because, yeah, that's a death machine right there.
The PK hit like a truck at the end. And Kieto, in a hectic fight at the end, still were able to make good on where they were. They just took the Ashport, were on all different sides, and it felt like there was just no way to tell where anybody was.
Everyone was looking at the Ash, and like you said, they take the port that draws a lot of aggro. Everyone turns their head to try and deal with, this Huntress over here as she throws down the snare, and suddenly they can't move. And on the other side is Cam, who still had full purple shields going into that last fight. All the damage coming through from players who can't move. They just end up getting knocked one by one by one, and it comes down to that knockdown shield fight and that one last shot. We are going to have several more shots just like that on the other side of a quick break. That was just map number 1. We'll have scores and more. We'll have scores to look at and scores to settle on the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere.
getting ready for game number 2. Game number 1 had a bombastic end, which did lead to us having Quieto up on top, as we are not able to get our scores on stream, but I can tell you Quieto on top right now, 24 points overall, 12 kills. No Magic did get 7 kills, 16 points overall in second place. Phantom, Lick Moons coming up there in 4th and 3rd respectively. Solus, NG Skoden tied for 5th at 10 points.
I mean, for some of those teams, especially at the top, like Quieto and No Magic, like that's not bad at all for a first time around, especially Quieto, because 12 kills and a win, 24 points. Like, if this is a match point, you're nearly halfway there. Unfortunately, it's not a match point. We're gonna play the full 6 the entire way, but hey, more games like that, we could potentially see them bust into the 100 club.
Possibly. I mean, Quieto are a strong team whenever they can get themselves like on the ground. They are a fighting team. They want to get into fights. They want to mechanically outplay people. They are the prototypical edge team. Got to play their game in game 1. Question is, can they be consistent about it?
Well, we are going to be consistently inconsistent in terms of the ring pulls here because we can already see the first and second rings going to be pulling up towards Command Center and Lightning Rod. This one's interesting. I remember once upon a time, some of these rings that ended up on the northern side of Storm Point were very rare. It was like seeing a unicorn, but now we see them all the time, and they often end up in these really, really weird oddball positions where
Mhm.
the higher up you are, the more likely you are to be the team that has the God spot. But not always, because we also get situations where you get these crazy ring pulls and you think you have to go up high ground. Suddenly you have to make this crazy slide downhill, and you just got like traps and smokes and gas canisters and everything, and the kitchen sink waiting for you at the bottom. It's like sliding into a shark tank.
It's also just because of just where Command Center is, a lot of that second ring that we saw there is not it's not legal end territory. So
It's
you have a good way to predict where this ring is going to go, but it also is in kind of the middle of nowhere. So it's gonna be a little tough if you're not a team like Solus who's been running that Newcastle for that extra cover.
Yeah, and let's talk a little bit about Solus as well, because like you said, the Newcastle for extra cover, they had that game plan, right? Like they identified where the correct God spot was, and they tried to make that big play with the Wraith TP and then drop the castle wall at the end of it. But unfortunately, Child left behind, and we weren't actually able to get everybody into that God spot. And then they had to double back and try and cover for that, and it all just went wrong. If they're able to execute that successfully this time around, I like their odds a lot better if the ring is, as you say, out in just a no man's land.
Yeah, they have something that a lot of other teams don't, which is hard to say in the current meta as things are. Did see Legacy also just drop again, kind of in the middle of nowhere, and immediately start going towards another team, jumped into Command Center. Legacy struggled a little bit. A lot of our top teams last game went out early. Angelite, Legacy,
Speaking of top
Addicted.
teams, have a look at the top left of your screen over there by North Pad because we got two teams right there already on a little bit of a stalemate. This might not be the same situation that we have or had on the previous game. Also, we can even see a crypto drone on the map. One of those teams is running a crypto, and I'm not quite sure which one.
I know Legacy definitely were. Antidote, though, one of the teams we're looking at, and Phantom also looking like they're getting into the middle of a fight over in Cenote. Still have white shields, L-Star and Nemesis, so running the double energy right now and tanking Ring for this fight.
We have this fight already kicking off there. Brianna Aspen gonna fall as well as Ali FPS. So trade on both sides here. We're
Ooh,
gonna have those teleports coming out. BBS is gonna be the team that is gonna be first to fall. First one sent back to the lobby here, courtesy of Phantom taking this ring fight here. It's a round one ring, so they don't really have to start moving just yet, but they've already started moving themselves up the board.
the problem is it is a round one Ring, but they got a far way to go. They are going to need to
That's
move
true.
really far up into that northeastern side.
I didn't even think of that. Yeah, they're like way down here, like by Cenote. They need to get up towards Command Center stat, and they don't really have the tools to do it just yet, unless they're able to find a Trident somewhere nearby. They've already used the Void Nexus as well, so I mean they're gonna have another one here, so they will have a get out of jail free card if they find themselves into a fight here. But Gonna be a very long and treacherous walk. You are absolutely right about that.
There should be a trident just outside of Cenote, and they do have a lot of syringes here, so not too worried for them. But if they get gate kept, things could get a little bit hairy. Soulless now, as we take a look at them, going to be evac towering up to the top side of this wall area. They're going to be looting up just a little bit more and hoping probably for a little bit of a better end game than they had last time around.
Yeah, and I also want to touch on a point that I mentioned last week, you know, with this composition being kind of like a good jack-of-all-trades sort of composition, because, again, it's random POI drops and no legend bans, so you're not really going to be able to plan for anything. You kind of just have to have a composition that's ready for anything, and I think that plan, like you said, where you take the Wraith, well, I said, actually. Sorry, I got to give myself the credit. They take the Wraith TP and drop the castle wall in an endgame, like you said. If we can get them into that better situation, this is one of those kind of deals where it can realistically work anywhere if it's executed correctly.
Right now, Solus peeking around wall, seeing if they can find a fight for themselves. I think maybe wanting to make up a little bit off of the last game, want to get into a clean 3v3, and they might have just found one. Techni taking a warding shot out into the distance. Kree already down to almost no shield, so a little bit of a rough spot, and that is one of our crypto teams.
That might even have been the crypto team that was fighting over on North Pad, so they might have found their way up into the wall and into the waiting arms here of Solus. Wow, big nade, though, comes out. A lot of damage on the Techni. That might be a knock coming through, but Kyrie through the window is going to find a crack. Nearly finds the knock, but is not going to be able to do it.
Could not get the damage through. Now Techni needs to get over and pull Kyrie back up. This is the bonus you get from that new castle. Will be healing up, and Kyrie's going to go up top to just buy as much time as possible. But now that new castle is gone. Might get fully finished. No, we have Kree coming in to save the day. Gets a knock. Kyrie buying time, gets another knock with the R9, and suddenly Solus have turned things around. Shield's broken on the last member here, and Solus looking to end this. Do get that final member, but a third party has come in. XOXO are gone, and Solus might not be long behind them. Techni still on the ground. Kyrie running for her life, using the altar ult to get out of jail free. And Solus, no, wait, there's another team waiting for them, and Solus are still in trouble.
Yeah, that ain't out of jail free, all right? This ain't the Shawshank Redemption. They went straight into another, more scary jail, and Crest says, no, I don't want none of that. We just got to try and get one out alive. So one of the benefits about this composition is it seems as though you have infinite lives, infinite get out of jail free cards with the Void Nexus, with that Wraith Portal. But if everyone goes down, then it's done. So we're going to have to see if we can get Solus back up to full strength in fighting form. But what a series of fights they took.
And they almost made it work, too, is the scary part. The fact that they got through that and survived, one, but also took out a team. Honestly, we're a little close in fighting that other team. Solus are a scary beast.
It's funny, too, because they come back to the Void Nexus and they see, you know, people knocked, two teams clearly fighting, and they're just like, oh, are we interrupting something? Yikes, yeah. Sorry.
My bad.
I'll knock next time.
Yeah, Yoimono. It is funny, too, because Yoimono were the team that ran into them first as that first third party that they alter ported away from. It's a two-man squad. And obviously, Solus isn't going to know that.
Yeah,
but
in hindsight, and there was a lot of damage that came out onto Nedlock, too. Like, yeah, if they had known, obviously, like you said, there's no way they could have known, but I honestly think maybe they could have taken that fight and even won it with that information, but unfortunately, both teams going to be, you know, getting out somewhat alive. We might actually be seeing the end as Legacy. They are a full squad, fully dressed in purple. They've got the crypto drone, and they've got them pinned down.
Legacy had a bit of a rough time. Yep. Just take a whiff shot at the spider for fun. Izzy popped off real hard with some of these long-range shots last time around, and has the charge rifle in hand as well. PK looking to try and pop somebody from a distance or up close. The crypto drone going in. Not going to have the EMP just yet, and Legacy slowly taking this fight as Winnie has to back off and heal. Drone EMP going in now. Smoke as well as Legacy have to heal back up. They're not able to really capitalize on this.
We're going to use the smoke to go in. Super aggressive here. Looking for the PK shots, looking for the damage. We've got 2 PKs, actually, so this is going to be a real bloody team to fight at close range here. And I think here in those PK shots, no one wants to get close. Legacy just going to hold this corner here. There we go. Big shot. 72 onto blue armor. Not enough to find the crack, but definitely enough to put a little bit of fear out downrange.
Winnie does have to heal, though. Took a lot of damage in return. Legacy still peeking around, can't get the opening they need, and they're taking a lot of damage on this. They do get 1 knock. The caustic gas is burning them down. Winnie on just single-digit HP. Charge rifle not going to hit, but addicted are gone nonetheless. Legacy get their 3v3 win.
And that was a really important fight for them to win because the position they were holding means that the ring is likely to try and pull a little bit closer towards them. You can actually even see the next ring at the top of the minimap here. They needed to make sure that command center was clear before they tried to trek their way back in. Otherwise, they risk getting pinched. So that's a great play from Legacy. Great IGLing coming out. Great situational awareness. And other teams like No Magic, who had a pretty solid game last time around, I gotta say, in terms of positioning, I don't really think I like the looks of things this time around.
Yeah, it's not looking good. This is command center in these like mid to late areas of the game feels so scary to walk through because it's choke points upon choke points.
Yeah, it's like a hedge maze, and right now they are the ones getting caught out in the middle, totally lost here. Positions revealed. It's a Sparrow team on the other side. So you know 97 Nows knows exactly what is on deck, but you just don't know where the threat is. You don't know how to get to it, and every corner could be where that next threat is lurking. And you got to get moving eventually. You know, you could maybe take the zip line up, and it looks like that's going to be the best course of action here, but there's caustic barrels blocking the door, so even that's not going to be clean.
It's their own caustic barrels, thankfully. So
thankfully.
No magic okay, yeah. Just had to kick down the door. You ever lock yourself out, just kick down the door?
Yeah, every time I forget my keys, I have to get a new car door. It's like it's costing me. It's why I'm broke. Honestly, it's costing me thousands.
Yeah, it sounds difficult. I hope your memory starts kicking in soon, CB. I know you're getting up there in age.
What's interesting here, though, is like now that No Magic have taken the zip line up, they are now behind Legacy and can get the pinch. And there is a big sentinel shot right there. You can see that door closing, acting like that pseudo shield for Legacy. Nearly found the knock there. Yeah. Okay, maybe we stop opening the door and closing it. All right, we got a sentinel on the other side.
No, we gotta peek. We gotta peek. Soulless peeking in onto the other side of this tunnel here, and they are taking flesh shots onto a team in front of them. Phantom going out in the kill feed. Soulless looking to add to that total here. Do not get any full kills here, but Soulless do put a lot of damage down, and they're going to chase down, try to fully finish one, and that will be Mandy. That is Quieto that loses a member.
Yeah, that's Quieto that's losing all members here, and Soulless are going to be the beneficiaries of that one, taking a little bit of KP to boot, but now they're in a bit of a rough spot here. As you can see some more shots that came in there from Crestep, or towards Crestep rather, who's forced to get back with the rest of the team. And like, sure, it's safe, and with the ring right there being around 4 ring, you probably don't have to risk someone coming in from the back door, but you do have to risk, you know, making that uphill walk to try and get the safety. And yeah, speaking of uphill,
Renee alone on top of the hill, having to gatekeep however many players may be down below by herself. Legacy in the middle of another fight here. This is them still on the outskirts of command center, and they might just want to back away to heal up as they will get pushed. No EMP in sight. Kraber in hand for Narumi. One shot can change this fight in an instant.
No one showing themselves. We're seeing the scope come out, and there we go. 150 on blue. That's a crack right there. And you know Legacy are going to blitzkrieg right down range there, and they're going to take down No Magic. That'll teach you to come on popping through the door like that.
Just instant. Just the flick gets the knock, gets the kill on the team entirely. And Legacy, all it takes is one Kraber shot.
Sometimes that is. That's all it takes. And yeah, I was ready to write Legacy off there because I thought they were about to get pinched. Luckily, they're not able to get third-partied in that fight, so they're totally safe. You know, if that fight had dragged on, there's a really high risk that they end up getting third party, but putting that one shot down range at just the right moment and finding the mark is key in that fight. That's why that team has been amongst our top for, all week last week, and they're getting back into fighting form this week as we're down to 7 squads. Round 4 ring is closing, and this looks to be maybe not the god spot, but a damn good spot nonetheless for NG Skoden.
Skoden are looking to feel in a good position for the next couple of minutes here. Now, they will have to drop as the ring does pull more north going forward, but they have really solid high ground, and while a lot of teams might be looking this way, they've got the cover to just bide their time and hope the rest of the teams start to eat themselves alive.
Ring pull is really brutal for some of these teams, though. Like, have a look at Cants right now. They're indoors. They've got all the cover they need, but they're going to have to trek out of it, across it, and have a rough time trying to find a new place to call home here before long. They didn't even see the res coming in from behind. That team, whoever they are, is going to be in a much, much worse position. That might be Lust, which is interesting because that was already only a 2-person squad, and back up to full strength is still not full strength in terms of, overall strength of this lobby.
7 squads remaining. Kant taking some damage. They've got a building to work with here, but there's a lot of teams that want to move in on them, and they're going to have to move shortly here. Just 15 seconds. Stingers going out. They're going to make the move here. One Stinger already putting out damage, and Daxian getting hit hard here. Do get a crack onto one, looking to get the knock, but the PK shots aren't landing, and Kant are in trouble. Legacy eliminated in the kill feed there, and that will be the end of the run for them. Kant able to get their win, but look at their HP bars. They've got to sit back and heal.
Yeah, but that was, like you said, that was Legacy, and that was Sweet Pea finding the kill there, so there's no one else around in the neighborhood right now, so they're going to be able to get all that loot off the death boxes, get themselves healed up nicely. Solus, by the way, I was mentioning how rough a position they were in. Well, it just got 10 times worse as Crestep nearly falls there and is forced to use all the utility to try and get back to safety.
Stays alive, has the opportunity to heal, but the ring is closing, and there is no Newcastle to save you if you fall. Solus have to go on top of this hill, and they're just gonna get pushed. Stinger coming through too. Kyrie gets on the other side of the wall, but right into a Watson fence of all things, and goes down. Kree not likely to be living much longer, and I don't think Solus will be alive for too long. Try to take the fight, will not succeed. Solus are eliminated. NG Skoden down to a single member as well. Ren, nowhere to go, tries to hide, tanks some ring damage, and will stay alive, out of sight, out of mind.
This last kind of ring situation, though, that creeping barrage can do a lot of damage, displace a lot of people, and give yourself some breathing room. If you're going to have to rat your way to victory here, that is absolutely fine, because, everyone's going to be going back into their hidey holes, but don't want to hide right now, and you can't hide from them.
Sweet Pea has to get pulled back up. 72 at the distance. 60, another crack. Daxian is hitting hard. Gets the shield swap, but only to buy a little bit more time. Gets shot in the back looking the other way. And Kant might be taking their last breaths. Sweet Pea low on HP. Banks falls. Sweet Pea next. And Kant will go down, but not before Lust do.
Angelite, one of the other teams left alive. We're down to just 2, and again, this is our champion team from the last week. They went down really early in the last map, and they want to try and make this one up with the Watson. The shield's going to be nice and topped up for this last fight here. They've got the god spot, they've got the fences, they've got the high ground, and now they've got the targets in their sights.
Dropping down the Stinger to make it even more difficult. Great entry. Mizzadil is gone. And Angelite do lose one, but I think they're still feeling strong. Ren gets knocked again, and NG Skoden, while they survived for a long time, they won't survive much longer. Angelite win game number 2.
You can run on for a long time, but sooner or later, gotta cut you down. Angelite will do it yet again, still making themselves out to be one of the top teams in Celestial Cup right now. I mean, getting another win under their belt, I mean, we knew they were still going to have these strong performances. We'll have to see how much KP they actually get to but getting more dubs, stacking more points, getting themselves back up there on the board, there's a real chance we could be singing the praise of this team again by the end of the day, because they might be able to make their way back up to the top, especially with Kieto falling as early as they did.
Yeah, Kieto going down so early does really open things up. Also, just Angelite having that rough game means like we are kind of in the thick of things. There's a lot of points in a lot of different areas, and we do not have a clear lead with our top teams from one game going down early in the next. But I am very excited to see where that takes us here. We are going to send it to a quick break, though, as we get ready for game number 3, guys. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Number 2 done and out of the way. Angel 8 able to pick themselves back up for a win. We're now moving on to game number 3.
Yeah, and we're also going to be moving away from Storm Point for the time being and moving on over to World's Edge. Storm Point, a team or a map that has traditionally favored the very edge-focused playstyle where you're super aggressive, you're taking some of these fights. Well, Zone is typically the name of the game on World's Edge, but I say typically because these teams are not very typical. There's definitely going to still be a lot of aggression coming out, especially from the likes of Solus, who had a much better time around this time than they did before. Actually, no, they played both games quite well. No, some of these other teams, though, had quite aggressive compositions, didn't work out too well in the first act, but map number 2, they bounced back, and we're kind of all over the place score-wise.
We definitely are. Obviously, Kieto game number 1, great. But then game number 2, they go out really early. 11th place with 1 kill, only 2 points. Angelite with their win now in 2nd place with 23 points now. Legacy also moving up to tie with Angelite. They are in 3rd. NG Skoden also tied with their 2nd place there at 23 points. Solus at 22. And No Magic, our 2nd place team from game number 1, now in 6th.
It was a real renaissance game for some of those teams that fell short in the first act, but after only 2 maps, things being this spread out isn't really all that surprising. You've got a couple teams still down there with no points that have yet to get on the board, but there's still teams, like Boobies that we've seen before last week that, they managed to make it back into this one as well. So we know they got the sauce. They can just They just need to have that one good game to get themselves back in the running. So while it's interesting the way it's kind of shaken out, it's still far too early to call who's going to be the top dog at the end of the day. And we still have 4 more maps to get through to find out. And like I said, World's Edge is going to be the next 2 of them. And later on, we'll be heading on over to E District. A lot of variants, a lot of opportunities for things to get shaken up even further.
Yeah, and I'm curious now as well to see how Solus are gonna adjust because they're one of the teams that felt like they were running a composition that was explicitly to help on Stormpoint, right? Like you're running the Newcastle, so you have that extra cover in a lot of the areas where Stormpoint doesn't. The Wraith has a little bit more flexibility in and out of there as we're going to take a look and show our scores on screen here. You'll see Kieto up on top still, but just barely.
Yeah, and Angelite, like you mentioned, not too far behind them, only 3 points. And hey, Legacy and NG Skoden all there as well. That little 3-way tie for second place. Don't adjust your TV sets. Yes, that says 23 for all of them. And then Solus only 1 point behind. So, we talked about Kieto dropping a potentially nuclear first map. Well, map number 2, they drop out, and suddenly there's a lot of people vying for the crown, and any of them could be the ones to take it.
Absolutely. Taking a look now at our picks going into World's Edge.
To answer your
Solus.
question, yep.
I actually did not see. I did not
You
see.
didn't? Oh, it's the same
No.
comp. They're
Okay, it's the
playing the
same
Newcastle
comp.
again.
Okay.
It's the Alter Bangalore. Wait, actually, it might even Bangalore or Wraith. I just saw the Newcastle.
It
So
was
you were
Wraith.
it was Wraith.
I did see Wraith. I did not see anything else. It's interesting because I know that there are a couple of players that I have spoken to that do no, like they do value that Newcastle. They think Newcastle is still decently strong. There's a couple people that think Watson is also still decently strong and want to run her as well. So there's that little bit of teams kind of going with what they feel is good rather than just hard meta.
Here's something that's got to feel good if you're Cam, Mandy. You got Fragment and Monument all to yourself. No one dropped over at Monument. The POI RNG just kind of threw everything on over to that west side of the map. It's real congested over there. So if we get like a southern ring pull, some of these teams, over towards Lava Fisher, Thermal Station, and Mirage Etoile are going to be crashing into each other. But then, these teams up over on the northern side, they're chilling, They just got to try and get into a nice, sweet home. And Monument and Fragment are just, like, wide open.
Yeah, and we are getting a southern ring here as we see. We're going to go towards that lava siphon harvester area. Interesting that we're going on this side. Usually when we go into lava siphon, it's more on that right side, whether it's on the southern or the northern side, kind of varies, but it's rare that we get it on this western side, which is going to make things a little bit more interesting to see if these teams know where that ring is going to go.
Also, just a quick little heads up for Prod. I've realized that we are still showing the scores instead of the game, unfortunately. So you'll just have to take our word for the map as we didn't actually get to show it to you. But there we go. Now we got Licks over here in Trials. And I believe there was another team up nearby at Skyhook. And again, just like I said, these are some of these teams that with that southern ring pull that's a little bit more to the southwest is going to be crashing into a lot of other teams because the RNG put just about everybody over on the west coast of World's Edge.
It also means too that our fragment choke point might get hit hard at the same time by a lot of these teams, since we did have nobody in fragment monument outside one team. Everybody is going to get in there, and there's not going to be fighting going on already, but they are going to have to just get through that choke point because that southern side can be difficult to get to sometimes.
That's not a bad shout, having that one team that's actually able to get in on through there early, and then everyone else that was in, like Climatizer and Overlook, gonna have another potential rough time. So yeah, you're gonna want to pay close attention to some of these choke points as things go on, because where a lot of the action is going to be is right now is a little bit of Prowler killing action, typical Skyhook West Trials action. Boobies on over here. Oh wow, okay, that's some big damage coming out. I believe this team dropped in the dome, which is why you're going to be seeing a lot of white shields here, but a little bit more damage, and you might be seeing those turn blue before long.
I mean, Envy hitting the 30-30 shots. Has to feel good, but they're not able to do anything off of it. Do just get the port back and away. Addicted have to be happy with their little bit of damage they farmed. They're going to move back over towards Dome, interestingly enough.
There's still a little bit of a Dome in the ring as well, and I don't want to say maybe there's some loot left behind because it's Dome, so there probably wasn't a whole lot of loot to begin with, but there's at least the safety for now and some pressure you can apply over back towards Stacks and maybe try and take that. You can even see, like, Addicted, you know, with this crypto as well. They just want to try and find the right angle of approach, find the right way to get that damage down range, and you want to be extra careful about it. Again, with white armor, you got to get that damage in fast.
Addicted definitely also want to just pick up because they've had a couple of rough exits so far today for a team that has really strong potential. Phantom we're taking a look at right now, resetting from a fight that did not go their way. But they will continue to take some poke damage here, and Ali losing shields once again, 30-30. Do get one shot there, 74, but Nuve tanking a little bit in return.
It's just, you know, a few pot shots and mean words being exchanged across Lava Siphon. At that range, you can't really do much more than that unless you're able to find the knock. And it is also where the ring is going to be pulling towards, at least for now, so they are happy to just hold that position, especially when they have that caustic on their team. But Legacy, a team that does not have that caustic, they are a crypto team, and they definitely don't want to be sticking around when things get hot. Ooh, okay, we're getting caught on the rotation here. That is real rough, even with the smoke grenades down. Put a real wrench in the equation here for Legacy. You can even see more soldiers coming on. Winnie falls as well. This is disaster.
This is terrible, and for all of the people that to be left alone here, it is Norumi, who does not have a way out, doesn't have a drone to EMP, and Legacy get caught on a rotate, and Quieto take full advantage of it.
That's a very uncharacteristic mistake for Legacy, but very characteristic of a team, the pedigree of Quieto, to be able to punish that. So you had to know it was going to happen eventually, and unfortunately, it is not going to be Legacy's day. And we talked about, you know, our standings. Legacy is one of those teams that was tied for second. I think that tie just got broken. They ain't going to be podiumed anymore.
That's the problem. Legacy are really good mechanical players, and they're usually very, very smart in their rotates, but sometimes just things do not go well, and when the plan breaks down, Legacy can struggle a lot. Licks, as we take a look at them currently.
It's very human. It's very natural. You know, sometimes the lizard brain just says, I'd like to be over there as quickly as possible. So you just start running and inting, and you didn't check a corner, and suddenly you're dead. Like, it happens to the best of us, happens to the worst of us. I'm the worst of us, and it happens to me all the time, so...
Just the way you said it's very human. It's just like
it's very human. It's like a lizard brain.
Do you ever see those videos of like the design is very human? Like, does that ring a bell at all? Am I talking to myself here?
No, it doesn't.
Okay,
it sounds like something anthropomorphic if I had to guess, but
no, it's there was a guy that was designing awful like inventions, and every time he would start off with, as you can see, the design is very human. Just like, it was just like really weird.
Well, another thing I think is really weird, maybe not for today, is Lust already being down Scarlet. They should be able to get that res though. They still have the Void Nexus up. Renee out and completely safe. We still have a 2-man squad here. We're able to get that to the res beacon. Maybe get craft a banner. Because I actually don't have the banners ready to go. Might be able to get themselves back to full strength. Lust, I think, does still have the potential to climb up the charts. If I remember correctly, some of their best maps yesterday were here on World's Edge. So, yeah, there's still plenty of time. But Angelite still sitting pretty atop their throne over here on Harvester. With all these Watson fences. It's not the most comfortable of thrones, but I'm sure for them it feels pretty cozy right now. Maybe not for Ellie, who took a bit of damage there, got knocked, and might actually get finished.
Does get fully finished, and He went out there to try and help. Did get a knock, but could not get her teammate back alive, and that is really unfortunate to have the fragger of Angelite gone. Addicted, able to get a knock here on another team, and they will get that full finish. Addicted, at least able to get something going for themselves this game.
We're seeing a lot of these situations, you know, with these comps, because, you know, we saw all of the teams playing very, very safely, very passively on map 1 on Stormpoint, but on World's Edge, they're trying to do they're taking more risks, you know? They know they have these get out of jail free cards with the Void Nexus, with the Ash ports, with whatever their tools their composition has, and they're going for these crazy rotates just to try and scout and getting punished for it. And I kind of like that. More of these teams are starting to pick up on, you know, where these other teams are poking from, able to punish some of these kills. And sure, you're not really going to be able to get a full team kill off the back of it. Your placement points ain't going to really be going up, but it's free KP for anybody who is there to capitalize.
Kant. A team that has had some bright spots, but also struggles today. Right now on the outskirts of Harvester. There is at least a bit of cover. The problem is that they don't have a good way to rotate from this spot. Like, Bangalore smoke is only going to buy them so much space. They're going to have to go across this wide open area to their right.
The good news is that there's a non-zero chance that was the team that took down Ellie from Angelite. The bad news is for Lust over here, have a look at how anemic these health bars are looking. They are in a bit of a scrap here, and the creeping barrage coming out from Renee is only going to do so much to stem the bleeding, and we're going to have a lot more bleeding to stem with these syringes, as Renee's going to be the last remaining member of Lust. Going to probably try and have to grab some banners. Yeah, just got to get more heals. This is, yeah, no, this ain't looking good. I don't know if they get out of this one alive.
Oh, I don't know.
Each other up here, maybe.
Renee does not have time to hit a syringe after this.
No, she's done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
okay.
Yeah,
Chase will be able to revive her.
Yeah, you got me. We're a little bit of a revival patty cake here.
So here's the deal. I think Jace has the like heal over time amp. So her heals are actually still healing her inside the zone for a good chunk, which is huge for their reset potential. Should allow them to get back on their feet, but Lust are still kind of struggling their way into points.
They're not too far in the ring, though, so if they get themselves back into full strength, they should be able to take a good fight, and that's exactly what Solus are here doing over here on the outskirts of the ring, up against a Watson team. You can see Techni trying to take down some of the fences. We also have the altar portal there. Yeah, there's fences in every single room.
Fences everywhere. Techni tries to avoid them, still gets hit by them nonetheless, trying to break them. You have to break all of them just to get through, and Techni moving forward with the PK. 36 flesh, and Sabs will go down. Huge win there for Solus.
You know, there's that old saying about, like, the American dream, the white picket fence. That's what the fence is supposed to be outside of your house, not like in every single room and crevice and closet.
You know, I say let people live how they want to live. If they want electrical fences throughout their entire home, who am I to judge?
A terrible interior decorator if you're not judging them. Addicted. Over here on the rotation just outside of Harvester, looking to try and find themselves in the ring. They're having a bit of a resurgence here this time around. You know, they're not doing quite as well on the KP, but they were able to get that one kill earlier on. They're getting up there in terms of that placement points. If they can keep this momentum going, they should be able to place quite nicely. Solus, that knock not going to amount to much of anything. Yeah, we've got the Newcastle res, we've got the shield.
They actually swapped it around. They knocked an opponent off of that, and Kyrie will get the opportunity to heal back up full fin. Now Kyrie gets knocked again. They've been pushed on from the other side. PK just about out of shots. 36 isn't going to be enough. 72 is, though, and that's another team gone. Solus starting to frag out a little bit.
We travel back in time to a Gibby meta briefly there, back with the shield dancing and the shotguns. Another bygone era. One of the benefits of that composition is it seems as though you have infinite lives, but Clean do not have infinite lives, and Lena has nearly lost hers.
Clean feeling anything but as they move forward here. Will get some shots with the PK, but not enough for a knock. Lena can't walk forward into this. Incep gonna try and go for the res. Will it succeed? Do get spotted on it, and Incep can't finish it. Loses a lot of HP, and now Clean holding on by the skin of their teeth. Lena will go into the smoke and heal back up to full. No!
Nope, will not, actually, is going to die to some caustic gas there. When your health is that low, you can't risk taking one single whiff. Not even once, my friend. We're going to see Oatmeal Cookie and Seth getting back to full HP. Maybe they can try and get that res, but this is definitely not a safe place to be. And with the ring getting ready to move, they are going to have to try and find a safe place, but there are prying eyes all around them. There is no real safe way to approach. You can see, yeah, the traps there. Someone just on the other side of that door. So nope, not that one. Let's try and go around. And hey, what do you know? There's a threat at this door too.
And that is another team to run away from clean. Just cannot find safety for themselves. They've been able to find a little bit of solace up into the second floor of this building. But they need to get moving soon because 15 seconds and they're going to be fighting the ring alongside all of these other.
They seem to have trapped someone on the inside there. Able to get a couple kills, boot themselves up off these death boxes. Big damage coming out. The PK shots ringing out from Oatmeal Cookie. And that's going to be another knock coming through. Still not able to get a full team wipe, but whoever it is that dared step up to clean didn't realize just how filthy they actually are.
Clean now moving into this RV. Not going to be a safe spot to play because you could see damage still hitting hard, and Incept does fall, peeking through the door. Gonna drop down the Stinger just to buy a little bit more time. Nades are going to make things difficult, and Incept does get finished off. The nades hitting Lena too, and Lena might not be around for very long. Oatmeal Cookie next to fall, and Antidote are the team fighting this. They want to get in, finish this off, but the Stingers causing problems. They finally do, and Antidote get at least a little bit of a win for them.
Yeah, and they needed that one so bad. You can see the ring. They knew this was the only safe place they were ever going to get. If they didn't clear this RV and they tried to take another position, they were as good as dead. Clean would have wiped the floor with them, so they have to take this RV for themselves. It's a great fight to take, a great fight to win, and it sets them up for success going on in. But Phantom, they have decided, you know what? Mobile homes, it's time to invest, and we want these ones for our own.
You know, for mobile homes, I've never seen them move. I don't know how mobile they actually are.
That's a good point. Most of them just kind of stay in the same place. I suppose in theory they could move, and that's what makes them mobile homes, but...
Yeah. It's like if I have a mobile home with no wheels, is it still a mobile home?
If you're strong enough, you can lift it.
Well, dude, I'm not aware of anybody that is.
Oh, I guess you gotta hit the gym a little bit more. Maybe if you did,
yeah,
you'd be
my
as strong
bad.
as one of the top 6 teams that we got. Trying to find strong positions here. This is not a great place for Addicted to be. They've got their loot game, and they have an angle of approach ready to go. Back to full strength. Again, this is a team that we wanted to see trying to make that comeback, bringing in someone with the pedigree of Sabs. You want to be seeing this team at the top of the ranks. It's time to take what is yours, my friends.
Addicted making their move inside. EMP will hit them, and they're going to drop back out. Lady Pexy in trouble, very low on the HP, and then now the ring starting to come into play as well. Do you get a knock here by NB? Addicted getting a decent win for the team. Scan will show, and Lady Pexy does go down. They're down their crypto. No drone to help them out. Addicted fighting from the low ground. Not the best place to be. The PK shot whiffs, 60 damage on the next one. NB hip firing the scout, but can't do it. Can't. Will survive, and they're going to be able to stay for 4 squads remaining, but for how long?
The ring is right at their backs, and you can even see one of them fell down. That's going to be so difficult to get the res here, and that is the least of their worries, because have a look at this fight happening up here on high ground with Solus. The PK shots from Techni ringing out, but she can't find the damage, is only going to find her grave.
Unfortunate end for Solus. Phantom able to take them out. Now looking across the way at the teams they're going to have to fight. 3 squads remain, but only 6 players. So neither of those 2 teams is a full squad. Phantom does not know this, but they're going to try and figure out what is the fight that they can take. They're making moves. They are trying to take a lot of space here.
I think they figured out that this is a single player. They might be able to try and go and get the kill, but too much damage coming in from the other team. And yeah, we've decided it's not worth it to try and go all in on this one just yet. But I think Phantom have at least identified that one of these 2 teams is not full strength. We're not quite sure where the other one is, but we do know that Phantom are in a good position, and with the Kraber, Alley could make either of those teams bleed and bleed out fast.
Phantom getting themselves stocked up for this final fight. Look at all the shields that are just on the ground here. Gonna get healed back up. Lots of shield swaps for Phantom to grab, if they so please.
If they're going to put all the shield swaps there, though, they have to let the fight come to them, though, because they're going to have to try and move alongside the ring. Some of that shield might not be available when they really, really need it here. See them still trying to pin down that one last member of Kant over there on the other side. I don't think Kant was able to get back to full strength and definitely will not be showing up to the final dance at full strength. Allie checking every possible angle, making sure there's no one beneath the floorboards, no one anywhere, and there's still the curious case of where is that other squad.
Phantom are playing this very slow because they do not know at all that they are the strongest team by numbers here. They're going to take some shots. They know there's a team below them, and the Stinger's going to go down, cause problems. Position will be revealed. They're going to get stung in response, and Phantom take out 2 birds with 1 shotgun.
Slow and steady does indeed win the race, and birds is an interesting thing to call them. 2 birds, 1 stone. I know how the old saying goes, but hiding down beneath them like fish in that little canyon there was yeah, like I don't even know if they knew how easy it really was going to be when it finally came time to do it, but they definitely made it look easy nonetheless. And it's all about that pre-planning. Even though, like I said, a lot of those shield swaps didn't end up getting used, they were still ready to use them if they needed them. If the fight did come to them, they were ready to stand their ground. But it turns out they didn't have to stand any ground. The rest of the map, the entire ring, it was all free real estate. It was all theirs to claim.
Really great stuff there by Phantom to close out that fight very strongly, get themselves a win. We are now halfway through our night. We're going to take a break while we get our scores tallied up and see who is on top. And welcome back, everybody. Game number 4 about to get started. But before we get to that, we're going to take a look at our standings, where we do see Quieto has made their way back on top, but they're not alone.
Yeah, they said 1 is the loneliest number, but 2 can be as bad as 1. As lonely as it is at the top, they are sharing that throne with Phantom. The 2 of them squeezed together quite nicely at the top of that throne. Solus and Angelite not too far behind with 33 and 27 points, respectively. As we're halfway through our day, I mean, with things being as shaken up as they are, they could still go in any way, shape, or form. From here on out, we got one more map of World's Edge coming on deck, and we got 2 maps of E-District, and E-District plays very differently from both maps, so we could even see some of these teams towards the middle to lower end of the pack doing like a full 180 and coming to join them up at the top.
Also, want to point out that Solus able to get into the top 3 without having a top 3 placement at all today so far. They have been really farming kills to get themselves up onto that leaderboard, as well as they've had really consistent placements. It's been 4th or 5th for them every game.
That's because they've been consistently violent. You know, you've consistently seen them in the kill feed, whether or not they have been, you know, at the end of at the last ring. If they've made it to the end game, they have still prevented a lot of other people from making it there as well. So if you keep on, you know, stacking up that KP, such is the life of an Edge team, and no matter what map it is, you better believe that Solus are going to be playing Edge. And speaking of edges, have a look at the edge of our map here on World's Edge. It's a lot of edge. Once again, over there on the West Coast, a lot of teams, including Solus, are all nice and stacked up there, real tight.
They're
As it's
snacked
actually,
up.
they're snacked up. These teams are.
They got a bunch of
snacked up.
snacks. They got a bunch of snacks. They're chilling. They're just waiting for teams to come to them.
They should make a mod for this game that replaces syringes with like little snack bags of Doritos. For the to
I think there might be
appeal to the
copyright
game.
problems.
They could call them like you know, Apex Sos and make them like, you know, Funyun rings or something.
Sounds like a cereal now. We're getting our foods mixed up.
It's still a snack.
I guess, but like, who eats just cereal as a snack?
Sometimes you just get bored and eat dry cereal with your hands. Do you not? Like, it seems like a very human thing to do.
The design is very human. So we're
Yeah,
gonna
good
check in
callback.
with BBS. Let's see where they're gonna go outside of Thermal Station.
Like we mentioned, this is a very congested area of the map, so wherever they go, there is likely to be trouble. Not too far away. You see the ping coming out. Looks like they've got their eyes firmly set on those houses. But you can also see, yep, there's a couple of open bins up there, so they know now that they are absolutely not alone. And Addicted, again, Skyhook West and Trials, they're going to be nice and looted up. They've already got that blue armor. They have been surging themselves up towards a little bit further up towards those standings, still trying to break into that top 10, but could have a couple more good games, get themselves in there. They move on into Skyhook, looking to try and find a little bit of trouble of their own.
Addicted looking. They're gonna see some action and move their way back into Skyhook. They are very shielded up right now. Addicted could probably take a fight very easily if they wanted to. The question is, can they get the position that they need?
It's like, if they know whether or not a team is in this building, and yeah, they figured it out, and that's white armor on the other side, and it might as well be a napkin for all the good it does you. Stabs, a pedigreed player, is able to find the damage. We're gonna get that second knock coming through in no time flat. The altar portal up through the floor there, up onto the next floor. Let's take the zip line all the way up to the ceiling, but only thing waiting for us up there is a Stinger.
Stinger a little bit scary to run through entirely, so they are just going to run back, get these full fins on the 2 members that have been knocked. Addicted. Happy to get their KP. As Antidote will be eliminated entirely thanks to a little bit of help from Solus.
And something I want to highlight as well, you know, we kind of glazed right past it, but Lust also died first. So that's 2 teams, you know, that were on that lower half of that bracket that are only going to be staying there from here on out. And Addicted are going to be moving on up as they've got that KP. They've got a pretty solid position here, and they're going to be safe in the ring, or at least for the time being. Speaking of the ring, Phantom trying to get themselves into the next one. They've got the intel, courtesy of some of those ring consoles, thanks to the controller legends here. That Caustic, they should be seated up quite nicely before long.
BBS, I want to point out, also have started running the Newcastle. They're running a very different
And the
comp.
Fuse.
I'm always happy to see Fuse. Am I shocked by it? Yes. Am I happy? Also, yes.
Does Newcastle still have the Electro Wall perk, and does it zap Newcastle grenades?
It does zap fuse grenades, yes.
Okay, so this is a little. I really hope they thought of this. By the way,
It only works the one way. It only works the
Angelite
one
fell in
way.
the kill feed, by the way. That's another
Oh.
big thing.
Okay. All right. Angelite gone. A little bit of up and down from Angelite today. But yeah, the Newcastle ball only works one way. So you can throw things out. They just don't come in.
Okay, that's good. Because I always thought of it like a Watson gen, and I've always been that idiot on the Watson who will throw down my generator and then just start wasting all my grenades trying to throw them and getting zapped by my own gen. I was like, okay, what am I doing here? Get me off the sticks ASAP, all right? It's time for me to just retire.
Yeah, looking out into the distance. Will get some shots on a team far away. There's just pressure being put out by them. They can't really do a whole lot. Actually, they might be able to do a little bit more. Get a soul, and they're going to port in on this. They want to get their KP.
The risky gambit to try and go for the port in because they're not going to have that to try and get back out. But with that knock, if they're able to get in there before the res comes out, they can absolutely make their presence felt. And looks like you were all alone, Soul. So, yeah, that's going to be it. We actually see that Wraith TP there. There might have been an attempt to try and get the res, but that is not going to be coming out, and they are not going to be coming back to that port anytime soon. Meowth happy to get what they can and get out. Okay, oh, that was disgusting. Oh my God, Sky, you can't show that on TV.
Sky, crazy shot. Sierra though does go down thanks to the lifeline, able to get picked back up very easily though. They're just gonna move in on this. Sky wants to take the fight, can't find the members. Running through the open ground here, can't get the shots on the 30-30 this time, and that will be a squad getting away.
You saw it briefly, though, that Wraith portal. That's very likely that it was that same team that Soul was on. So, I mean, I don't know if this Watson is also part of the squad, but nonetheless, they are going to be sent packing regardless. XOXOL is going to be eliminated in the kill feed, and we're going to have just that one lonely Wraith for this team left to go. And Meowth stacking up the KP. They're on 5 as a team at the very least already. This is a real renaissance game for this team as well.
Solus currently playing a little bit of zone right now, though it's not going super well. Kree getting hit hard, gets jumped, not expecting the rest of that team to show up, and Solus are down a member already. Going for it likely will pull Kree back. No, not in time, and Kree is gone.
They're able to get the banner, though, but the fight is coming right to their front door, knowing that it's only 2 people on the other side of it. Kyrie and Techni have to get the shots. The PK shots ringing out. Big damage coming through. There's a knock. Kyrie getting the job done, but Techni has fallen. Phantom is going to be the ones taking the swift exit there, and the res will come through, and Solus, hang on.
Somehow, some way, Solus find a way to win that fight, even without Kree. That was 2v3 for the entirety of it. Kree was not a factor in that.
And they get a Moby as well. How does it feel to be God's favorite? How does everything just seem to go their way?
It is big wins for Solus here, who still, again, want to point out, still have not gotten a top 3 finish, despite being in the top 3 in points.
Yeah, but they just showed you why, because they just seemingly have infinite lives. They can get all of those kills, and they're consistently able to stack up the KP. You don't even need to get those dubs. You don't need to be in the top 3 in order to be at the top 3 at the end of the day, especially when the lobby is as shaky as it is. When you have teams like Angelite putting up god-tier performances one map and then dropping out first the next, it's really open season for a team like Solus that can just continue to cut bloody swaths through the entire team. Clean was a team that was doing that last map. We'll see if they've got that dog in them to do it one more time here. All dressed up in purple, making a swift rotation on into Skyhook, and it seems like Skyhook is where the end game is going to be, and that's where Solus are already taking their next fight.
There's a reason they were already here, and they are getting into the thick of things once again. They got to get some loot for Kree, and they will succeed in doing that. Licks will be eliminated, and Solus going to walk away with their prizes.
And G Skoden also have a pretty decent position here, and still kind of unlooted. A fair bit of bats and grenades all over the floor here for Renaissance. So yeah, I mean, maybe they didn't really have to compete for this one, but NG Skoden have some prizes as well. Have a lot more waiting for them if they can find some more KP, but yeah, gonna find some nosy neighbors putting some shots down range, and yeah, Ren's gonna think twice about hanging out on the roof of this apartment complex here.
Addicted, get their banner. Drop down. Where do they go from here is the real question. They're going to trade 1-for-1. Banks will be full thirsted. But Addicted have to find not just a way to get their teammate back up, but also a place to hang out as this ring continues to close.
They've got the banner. They're lucky they can maybe find a Moby in the death boxes somewhere. I'm not sure if we were able to get that one, but I'm gonna use the drone now to try and just assess the situation, see what's going on around us. I hear, oh yeah, you can actually see the fuse ult coming out there. Was that an attempt? Yeah, we did actually get the res. So the Moby coming out, but you know, we saw the mortar coming out. They already know that they're there, so they're gonna have to use the void nexus to try and find a nice retreat there. And yeah, Soul's gonna do the same as well. Just trying to find the best possible position for what's going to be the end game. No one really knows where this ring is going to pull. We just know it's going to be in Skyhook, and if you've got a building in Skyhook and it ends up going in your favor, you are sitting pretty.
I think it's going to be on the northern side here, which is going to make things really interesting for teams like Soulless that are right now on that southeastern side of where the next ring is going to go. Soulless still feeling strong, but we have 14 squads. And here's the thing with Skyhook endings. There's so many buildings, so much area that teams can hang out in, multiple floors, that you can have 14 squads in that area.
It also, you know, it's not completely ruled out that it could pull over here towards where No Magic is, a little bit further towards Countdown, and that would be disastrous for a team like Soulless, because their rotation is going to be a difficult one, and even if they are able to make it, they're going to be coming in from the low ground, and you can even see, you know, for teams like Meowth on the low ground here in Countdown, it's not a great place to be.
Low ground of Countdown is always scary because you get put into these hallways, and then how do you get out? There is no Ashport just yet. They're still waiting a little bit longer for that one. So it is at 98%, 99, and they should be able to get their way out in a worst case scenario, but it's still not a fun place to be. Clean, on the other hand, top of the standings, or sorry, top of the buildings, rather, as they will look down below on all of these teams.
Oh no. Yeah, a lot of teams down there by Countdown called this ring incorrectly, and it's the Skyhook teams that gambled.
No.
They put it all on black and it came up their way, so it's going to be bloody down there on the south side of this ring. You've got teams like No Magic, like Meowth, that are trying to make a comeback here, and this one poor ring pull might have just put that all to bed.
Hard gatekeeps for Legacy.
It's only
now.
gonna go further and deeper into Skyhook. Yep. So even the team that comes out ahead on that fight is gonna have a hell of a time trying to get anywhere safe. I would say I don't. It's too early, but I would rule out any of those teams over there by Countdown from winning this thing. I would put it all on Clean right now.
Clean are in prime position. Legacy, though, set up to get a lot of KP for themselves as the ring gets to close. They're going to have teams running directly into them, into that choke point, and they are just going to be firing freely into that.
Nice, so just left here back on the low ground again. Wants uppies really badly. The zip line is going to be happy to provide, but are we safe? Is the rest of the team safe? We're going to be able to do a little bit of crafting here, but we know there's still a lot of other teams that haven't been able to make their exit just yet, and as the ring is going to start to move and the kill feed going to start to fill on up with teams trying to make their way in. No Magic, we know for a fact they have not made it out alive, and maybe Meowth, patience was the name of the game.
But now they're going to have to fight an entirely new battle because there's a team out on the side here, but also Legacy in the buildings up in front of them, so they've got to fight a fight on multiple fronts.
Use that Ash teleport to get in, but Sky nearly dead on entry. Sierra gonna fall as well. Lifeline ultimate coming out from Issa, but it's just going to be like, yeah, you can't take this fight. You have to try and get indoors, and there's so many places that are already fully occupied that so much damage comes out. BBS is in no better straits on the inside either, already down to just one single person, and they are gonna be wiped down to 0 by Envy as Addicted come crashing on through.
Meowth also goes down in the kill feed. We are down to 8 squads. 6 kills on Sabs right now, coming back with a vengeance at the moment. And Addicted gonna start to make their way into where the ring will pull further.
It's a good rotation coming out from them, and they're still at full strength. And speaking of full strength, Solus at just that, but somebody wants to take a swing at them. Castle Wall gonna come out now from Techni. The cover is there, able to hit the syringes, heal right on up, and deter some more of the damage. And a lot of it might have been coming through the window, so they might be able to mitigate the threat at least for now. And they do have a little bit of safety inside of this building, as part of it will be in the ring. You can actually see coming through, the threat's actually above, just 1 floor ahead. And Legacy, speaking of above, they've consistently been top dogs in this entire tournament. And with that noxious gas grenade, they might be able to take down both of these teams.
Izzy looking, grenade in hand, waiting for the right moment to go in. They have the EMP as well. They're going to time them with both. Drop the grenade in as the shields go down. And they've gotten a lot of front-loaded damage, but can they finish it off is the question. Izzy drops the traps, backs away. They don't feel strong enough to take the fight.
Yeah, it's Narumi hanging back to try and deal with that other team that was on the floor just above where Solus was. But with that damage that comes out, Izzy can't commit by herself, so has to fall back. They can go back in now, but they know it's 2 teams above them, and they're just going to have to settle for the positioning. That's all they can really get, and it's going to be in the basement where 2 teams still lurk above them, sitting in a much better spot. But have they identified that Legacy are down here now? If they're quiet enough and they minimize themselves, they might be able to catch them off guard. Quieto, by the way, was that other team. Our team currently sitting in first place. And Cam with another gas grenade.
There's just gas grenades everywhere. I like the ports here. They can't get in until those Wraith portals go down. They'll just go side to side. Now they're going to go in as they have done so much damage up front. And that's likely going to be all she wrote for those 2 members. And Solus do lose 2, but I think they did survive.
Question is, where is that last remaining member of Solus? We talk about how this team has infinite lives. Well, it's a bit of an exaggeration because all things are finite, and so too is Crestep's life. If she makes one misstep here, isn't going to be able to get the banners, might be able to craft or recover them somehow with a portal. This late in the game, that is going to be a fool's errand, especially with Legacy just holding their ground here. And again, got this one other team directly beneath them, and surely Legacy know about it. They know that Quieto is down there.
Reviving Winnie. Stinger comes in, and that might be the death knell. They've got to take this out ASAP, and they do. Lots of damage done, and Winnie fully finished as well. They're dropping that revive beacon to try and see what they can do, but there is so much damage. The nade forces them out of the corner, and that's all she wrote for the caustic. Legacy might be going down entirely. Quieto are eliminated beforehand. Legacy down to just Narumi again.
That was Legacy trying to come in from behind on the ring, but it's the final ring. It does so much damage. They were never going to be able to pull that one off, so Legacy, by the skin of their teeth, are able to hold on. And speaking of holding on, Clean have held on to this god spot throughout this entire time with only 6 squads left and the ring at their back. They can start their forward march to what seems like a god-given victory, as Yoimono are going to be the next team to fall. The recon bolt's coming out from Oatmeal Cookie.
Clean are trying to take as much space as they can. The caustic gas makes that a little bit difficult, and they might not have checked all their corners. Take a lot of damage, and Clean, they have to be smart about this or they will lose this. They do not have this in their hands just yet.
There's someone getting a res here, and if I didn't know any better, I would say that that's Crest resing up the rest of Solus. Kant is going to be eliminated. No res is coming out for them as we're down to just 4. Legacy gonna be the next to fall. We knew they were trying to limp over towards the finish line, and they will not be crossing it today.
Clean, popping over, goes right back over the wall here, and now they have Wraith jumping into their team. Will walk by them, gets scanned. Clean now hitting the PK shots, 108, but the grenade hits, and it's going to be right by the ring. Oatmeal Cookie has to be really careful here. Keep an eye on that ring. 15 damage from the PK, not what you want to see just yet. Solus do get eliminated. We're down to 2 squads, 1 knock, but Incep is down 2.
Oatmeal has the stinger if it's needed. Likely not gonna be able to get this res. The caustic gas and the ring. Clean just do nothing and win. They are the champions. I said I bet it all on Clean. I said they had the god spot. I didn't realize that literally all they had to do was let the ring and a little bit of gas do their dirty work for them.
What? That was the most anticlimactic ending in an Apex game I think I've ever seen. just 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 sit there
Well,
and then we're won. I thought
they
I don't
had a
know.
good position. You could even see like in the last moments in that like champion cam that like the ring closing was like right on top of them. So,
Yeah.
sooner or later that team on the other side was going to have to make that climb up over the wall. And at that point, they were just going to be, they don't have their guns out. They were just going to get caught with their pants down trying to make it into the ring to safety, and Clean would have been able to wipe the floor with them. And I guess they just gave up and they were just like, whatever. All right, we'll accept our fate. We can't make it over this wall. We might as well just die
You
on our
guys
side of it.
win. Okay, like
You can
whatever.
have it. We don't
I
even
didn't
want
want
it
to
that
win.
badly, apparently. Well, all right. We'll see if they still got some fight. Maybe they can get that will to win back in there. We're gonna throw it to a quick break. That's gonna be our last World's Edge game. We got E District and some updates to our standings based off of that game right on the other side of this. Don't go anywhere, chat. We'll be right back.
Back, everybody. We are here with our standings after 4 games, 2 of our maps fully completed. And if we take a look at them, run from it, it will never change. Soulless are back on top.
Somehow, despite like we said, not having any wins, any even like top 3 finishes, they have consistently managed to stay kind of within the realm of that top 3. And with just how poorly that map went for a lot of these other teams, they've managed to take that top spot. NG Skoden not too far behind, and Quieto has fallen down from first to third. Scores aren't updating, I think, so we're just kind of like describing the standings to you from what we see. Some other things worth mentioning here: Addicted have managed to break into that top 10. They are now in 9th place. Meowth still within that top 10. Legacy have continued to slip on down the ranks a little bit, and we still have the likes of Yoimono, Antidote, Lust, and some of those other members real far down.
Yeah, 0 kills for Yoimono today. 0 kills for a couple of teams on the day, and that's because they are getting farmed by a lot of these teams. We are going to get that updated here. Exactly, because I was looking at it on the screen. You know what? 0 kills for none of the teams. All kills. I'm a liar.
It's been rough. It's been rough for a couple of the teams, but there's still a little bit of a chance to try and bounce back if you had some good games here on E District. But you know, for those at the top, it's just kind of absolute chaos. I mean, at this point, it doesn't even really matter if you win. You're kind of just still hoping for the best. You're kind of hoping to just stay out of Solus's wrath because they don't care who they hurt, even if it's themselves. They just want to make you feel pain.
Solus have
No soul.
well, that wasn't what I was gonna go for, but I guess I don't want to say that because I know some of the people in Solus and they'll
This
they'll
entire
come
time
to
we've
me,
been
not
calling them
you.
out, the word soulless to me sounds like soulless. So that's why I was like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah, I know. And like you could call them that. You don't talk to them.
but I love them. They're great. They're great players. Kyrie was my aim coach once upon a time. And G Skoden definitely gonna be wishing they had an aim coach of their own, or maybe a positioning coach, taking a fair bit of damage here early on, and kind of a rough POI to be taking these fights at. There's a lot of high ground around the side there. And G Skoden gonna try and get their loot game up and get out alive. They were able to find that that early knock there. We'll get the full fin on that one, but it's just gonna be one little bit of KP for them for now.
Good start for NG Skoden. Now, we've talked about it, we've hinted at it a little bit. Now we're on E District entirely. Things can get very cluttered on E District because there's so many buildings. You could have a lot of teams in these late zones, and I think that's honestly where the shot calling and the IGLing comes in the most.
We did also see a little bit of it in that skyhook finish at the end of World's Edge, where you had a lot of teams with the altars taking the Void Nexus all around. E District is, imagine if an entire map was skyhook, so you're definitely going to be seeing these altar teams. I want to say coming to the forefront, but it's been altar all day long. It's just that her value is going to be exponential on E District. You're definitely going to want to, make sure you didn't leave her behind this time around, especially if you're one of those teams who brought her to Stormpoint and World's Edge.
Lust in the middle of a fight right now. Gonna be taking Sabs out. That's Sabs with two Z's for those counting at home.
The winner of the two teams gets to keep all the Z's, I've heard. There's a wager going on between Sabs and Sabs.
I just don't say that. People are gonna think that's true.
I have a microphone.
Oh
Whatever
my-
I say is true. And what is absolutely true is Renee is hitting these shots with the G7. Not going to be enough to find the kill, but you can see the aggression. Lust want this.
Lust absolutely feeling good at the start of this game, and fortunately does not see him. Oh wait, no, they did find that member. They're gonna keep going.
White shields,
know
you
how
can only
long.
run for so long. It's very lightweight. It'll take you a very long distance, but might just take you to the very end there. 50 damage, shield about broken here. You can already see, yeah, this is not looking great. That's going to be Nedlock cleaned up there, full fin. Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, no friends, no comrades in sight. Soulless are getting themselves into another scrap, though. How very characteristic of our favorite team.
Solus losing Kyrie here, gonna be porting back. Likely to get the reset as Alter very capable of allowing for that. And you have a Newcastle on top of that. It is very simple.
Yeah, it's gonna be one of these situations for Solus most likely where, they're gonna keep using the Newcastle for the revives. They're gonna be able to keep using these portals to get in and out of fights. And again, kind of have that feel like they have infinite lives. And with every life they take, they stack another one on there. So they're looking to get their game up as they see two fresh, juicy pieces of meat on the other side of that street. They just got to get the shots in. But unfortunately, this meat bites back.
Oh, it bites back hard. Kyrie now fighting two slabs of meat on both
Shield
sides.
is the wrong way, Kyrie. You gotta get on the other side of that one.
Well, listen, do get out. And they have a Wraith port as well to go forward. Phoenix kit for Techni. And we'll move on with the rest of the team. And Solus, again, slip out of another team's grasp.
Very slippery team composition, and that's why they play it. It makes them able to adapt to any sort of situation. And, like we say, they take a lot of these fights, and they often end up coming out on the better end of it, but they also have the ability to get out as soon as it gets hot. Right now, though, it looks to be very much so in their favor, and I think if you're Solus, you want to try and invest. We're going to have that castle wall coming out on the high ground. The PK shots hitting flesh for Techni. Might actually be able to find that knock here, and that would be enough. But actually, one more shot from Incept, and Techni's going to be the one to fall, and might actually get full finish there. The Void Next is going to have to come out from Kyrie. Once again, showing how slippery this team can be, but they need to try and find a way to slip out one more time.
Could not get Technique back up in time. Clean, our winners of last game now showing up. Insep waiting for the team. We'll just head back over to them as they start to get a little bit further into this ring. Now, I'm curious how they're going to play this, because now they've got... Okay, yeah, they've got the altar port to get back in. Yep, of course.
That was excellent comedic timing here. And, oh, I can tell you one person who is not laughing. It is whoever that was in the elevator right there. Already finding flesh. Oh, okay. Yep, this is my stop right here. There we go. It was going to be Dakeson that ends up getting taken down there. But it's traded out immediately. Addicted are in the house.
That is super unfortunate for Addicted, as they do trade 1-for-1 in an area where they should really have just gotten that kill and gotten out. Now Addicted have to find a way out of this fight, because they need to get their member back up. Ring is coming to them, and they don't have a lot of places to go.
Sabs has one way to go, and that is 6 feet under, as Ali is going to come on in there with that one clip coming out with that R9. Gonna get the full fin there as well, and then Lady Pexi forced to pop that drone. Should be able to get the banners with this, but this is not what you want to see right now if you're an Addicted fan, because they know that drone is coming out. It's gonna get ripped to shreds there.
Ooh,
we got the banners. We might be able to get out. Yeah.
Almost got the drone back in time, and that would have been huge. Because the thing with the drone. Okay, so one Moby respawn beacon in Lady Pexi's pocket. So either way, fine. But with the drone, that stuff is instant. You do not have to wait for the respawn beacon to get going. And I think that's exactly what Pexi's waiting for, is for the drone to come back, drop the beacon, and then use the drone to do it, because it's instant.
Yeah, good shout. And then that's going to be Addicted getting themselves back up to seemingly full strength. And they're in a it's going to be a rough spot to get back in, but they at least do have some ring safety in front of them. Lust, on the other hand, nowhere near the ring, but right where they want to be, and that is where the fight is. You can see them rushing on in, using those altar portals, trying to hunt down their prey, who will not be escaping these days. It's going to be XO eliminated once again. A really rough day for them.
First squad eliminated again, and Lust happy with their KP in their pocket now. Have the ring right in front of them. Clean. Might be in a bit of trouble themselves. Oatmeal Cookie, the last one alive. Going to use the ultra port to get out of here. Question is, will she survive?
Speaking of surviving, wouldn't you know it, Solus are back up to full strength, although still sitting on blue shields right now and haven't really been able to get their Evo game up just yet. But, once again, still in the fight. And as more squads are going to start to fall little by little as this next ring closes. 19 squads still in the fight. Big damage coming out early on. It felt like big damage. It felt like getting hit with a truck, but it was actually only one shield cell required. Kyrie takes a little bit more damage here, and suddenly Solas are pinned down. I highlighted it before. The canals on E District are the worst possible place to be, a watery grave if you can't get out quickly enough. And Solas know this. This is not where they want to be at all. They need to get somewhere safe, and they need to get there fast.
PK shots, Kree not able to get enough off of those. So they're just going to take the port out of there. Do not want anything to do with that fight. And Solus, again, trying to find safety for themselves.
Kyrie and Techni have height here, and we shouldn't have too tough of a time, getting crest up with the rest of the squad here. Now, Kyrie getting a little bit more shots ring out with that 30-30 there. It's not a bad spot to be for Solus, at least for now. But again, they're not in the ring, so they're going to have to make another move again. See if they have the utility up and ready to go, as Lust continue their aforementioned hunt. Still hitting flesh yet again. He's got the PK. Turns around. How did you even see that?
Oh, that's a knocked member. That was a knocked member. Okay.
I got you. I thought that was like a full flesh person.
I was too. Yeah.
It was like,
okay, well, just because you're crawling on the ground doesn't make you less of a person, CB. I feel like that's a little insensitive.
I mean, well, a couple more PK shots will reduce you down to less of a person, especially when it's Renee holding on to those shots there. I mean, another bit of KP for Lust as they continue to rack up the points. Still not finding a full team wipe, but hey, free KP is free KP.
PK shot will be good, and Licks will be eliminated. BBS, the ones taking them off the board. Getting themselves a little bit of much needed points on the day.
Another thing that you tend to see on E-District as well is, we've only lost 2 teams this far in, as a lot of teams are going to try and find a nice place to sit in one of these buildings, a little bit of apartment hunting. The market is terrible these days in Solus. They are currently homeless and also shieldless as well. They need to find a nice safe place, and the Void Nexus is going to be happy to accommodate. Technically going to pop that shield bat, and they should be once again back up to 2/3 strength, as Creststep was not able to get out alive. It's going to be another situation where they got to try and find that res and keep themselves going.
Is the Void Nexus an Airbnb in this scenario? Or
It's more of like a means to travel to an Airbnb. It's like a car.
Okay. I see. They're living out of the car right now.
Yeah, we've all had moments where we're broken, we're living out of the back of our Mazda. It happens to the best of us. And NG Skoden right now running that Mazda right over. Solus are gonna be the ones eliminated there.
Solus out. They're going to use the port just a little bit just to make sure no damage is taken. And Ren gets to crawl back into the ring, so will survive.
A lot more than surviving. Phantom right now is thriving as they have this high ground. It's not the best spot. It's not the god spot, as the ring is going to pull away from them. But from that height, there's a lot of different options. There's a lot of decisions that they can make. And if you're Poetic, you don't have nearly as much choices down here on the low ground as you're fighting against the Newcastle team. Your only real option is to stand and deliver and find the shots. And it's going to be BBS that ends up getting eliminated in the kill feed. But we still got more teams on deck. We got to hit these shots. Our aim must be true.
Reloading the PK, not a good time to do so. Will now be ready to fight. 96 from that, but Alstrea is low on HP. Still surviving, staying in the friendly caustic gas, and Poetic still up on their feet. Backing away right now. It seems like they're trying to find another place to play out of, but they are taking damage in the meantime. R9 from the backside will get one knock, but it's a trade 1-for-1. Poetic down to just Alstrea right now, who is hiding behind a pillar. The PK needs to hit real hard right now, and it's not going to be enough. Will go back into the wall, start running for her life, and see if there's a way to get the team back up.
But there's no support legend on this composition, so you're not going to be able to just craft the banners, and you're definitely not going to be able to go back in for free, so I'm not quite sure what we're going to be able to do. There we go. We got Dissy back at the very least. The full fin didn't come through for there, so with the aid of the Void Nexus, you can at least get one res here. Getting that other one, I think, is going to be a tricky task. But hey, you're not out of the fight just yet. The ring coming through, wait, that res might actually not come through. I'm sorry, my friend. I have to leave you to die.
That is unfortunate, but they will be able to get the banner immediately thanks to the altar passive. Alstrea wants to find a place to just hide right now and may have plays Poetic go down boobies right after. Addicted now as a duo run into this squad and want nothing to do with it.
Yes, they're still trying to get one more member up of their own, as Envy still hasn't been able to be res since the last fight. Lickmoon's gonna be the next one to fall. We're gonna see that altar portal coming through the walls. There's the ring at Lady Pexy's back. He's gonna settle for a second, and with just a sliver of cover to call her home. She'll be sitting pretty for now, but take one step in the wrong direction and the firing squad is going to have their guns firmly trained in her position. But those that firing squad might have been checked. That might have been clean. That had her pinned down. And you can see them taking a little bit of damage as well. A little bit afraid and gonna have to try and make a move here.
Clean. Making their rotate. Getting detected by a crypto drone. But I don't think Clean are terribly worried about this. They did throw down an arc snare because they saw a team right inside that building. Caustic gas as well. They want nothing to do with that team. They do not want that team coming out at all.
No matter what, you stay in there. That is just where you belong now. That's your home. I don't care if the ring comes in and bakes you alive like a cookie. That's going to be your final resting place if Clean have anything to say about it. But, the ring not at their back yet, so that team could just sneak out the back door. I guess that's one way to clear your back, but now they don't know where this team is. They don't know what to really do about it, so they have a bit of a decision to make. Do they go on the hunt and try and find the chase and make sure that all their angles are clear, or do they try and make the move now before it gets too late and just hope that team gets left behind?
have to make a guess at this point. Angelite still up right now, almost dropping off the top of the building here. This is where things can get a little scary. Any
Or
other
someone accidentally hits
legend?
their melee key and just
Oh.
knocks them down. No, they're going for a little bit of face diving.
They're going for the fight themselves. They're actually going to port in behind this bus.
Looks like this bus is going to be their new home, at least for now. Antidote going to be the next to fall. We're down to 10 squads, but this is still a real small ring for roughly 30 people to call their home. So no Magic going to be the next one to fall as well, and Lust are not too far behind as they've already lost Scarlet. It's going to be a rough one to try and find the res, though. With 2 on purple shields, it might be possible. And Skoden going to be the next to fall, and Clean aren't going to be able to make it out alive as well. They had a great spot, but like we said, they had to clear their back, and they weren't able to do so, and everyone is dropping like flies, and suddenly, blink and you miss it, we're down to just 5.
Yoimono, Phantom, eliminated. Quieto still up right now. They had a great start to the day. Maybe looking to finish strong as well.
Still have 5 squads as everybody is calmed down here for this final ring. If you're Quieto, you're looking at this last ring pool and you're thinking, what do I gotta do? How do we even get over there? Probably gonna have to leverage a lot of this altar utility, potentially also hold the ash port just to try and get out, but before long there's gonna be nowhere to run. And these caustic gas canisters are only gonna do you so much good for so long. Legacy have a much better position up on top of where Quieto are, but they are still down 1.
Ooh.
That is a risky drop there from Winnie. Has to try and make the climb back up. The ash port just to get on high ground, that is a waste of utility, and that is also a signal flare. Now everyone knows Legacy's position, and they're gonna clamp down on it.
They know there's no way out either. So this is a very sketchy spot for Legacy, and they're just gonna get climbed on, hit by the Arc Star, hit by the nade as well. Grabs the shield swap, Izzy A-okay, but another team has pushed on them, and that'll be Winnie gone. Izzy has to run for herself to keep the team alive. Winnie is still up. Somehow, some way, Winnie did not go down and is able to get the shield bat, does fall. Can't are gone though. In the meanwhile, these teams are eating each other alive.
And Angelite are happy to pick the bones from afar with the 30-30 shots from Maddie, and with Ellie. They can now rotate around alongside Fishy as well. Some damage trades coming out, but it's going to be the knock coming out onto Cam. This looks so good for Angelite if they can close this one out, and they know enough bodies have fallen. They can now take the high ground and watch as everyone bleeds out all around them. We're down to our top 4 squads, and right now, even though Angelite don't have the best spot, Quieto's spot right now is a nice little grave plot, all 3 buried right next to each other, and Angelite want to stack the bodies even higher.
Big damage from Ellie. Cracks the shield up top. 3 squads remaining. The arc snares hitting though. Putting out that little bit of damage. Scan to show where Fishy is. Will show the rest of the team as well. Angelite looking up above. Playing from this low ground is difficult, and they're just going to go for it. Arc snare again cracks the shields, but Ellie has to heal too.
They know they have to climb this wall eventually, though, and they want to be at full strength when they do it. They want to
Legacy's
hook
out.
these other 2 teams. Like you said, yeah, Legacy is out. The other 2 teams have eaten each other alive. Fishy goes up, takes a lot of damage, though. But we're going to see the trade come out. This is Lust on the other side. It's Lust versus Angelite, and Lust are going to be the ones holding the high ground and standing tall on our first map of E-District.
Such a difficult fight to end there. Lust in prime position and unchallenged into that final zone. They take out Legacy, they take out Angelite, and Lust take game number 5.
One of those situations with the E-District where all of these teams, they play so safely, so slowly, so cautiously, but when things start to get a little bit too tight and a little too claustrophobic and everyone drops like flies, those are the types of chaotic situations that Lust thrives in, that we've seen them cultivate successfully last week. It hasn't worked out so far for them this week until now, and they may have just shot their way up the leaderboards.
Absolutely, but we're going to take a break to get those leaderboards in order, guys. Don't go anywhere. We have our leaderboard check-in and our final game coming up right after this. Welcome back, everybody. Game number 6 just about to start, but we have our leaderboards to look at first, and look at them we shall, because guess who's on top? If you didn't guess NG Skoden, you're wrong.
That's another team that I have they gotten no, they haven't gotten a win. They've gotten 2 second place finishes throughout the
Yep.
day, and that's gonna be that coupled with the 30 kills they've amassed has been enough to get them a nice whopping 51, putting them a whole 1 entire point ahead of Clean, who is now 1 point ahead of Legacy and 1 point ahead of Solus, and the pattern continues for some time.
Yeah, it is Kieto, 1 point behind Solus, 1 point behind Legacy, 1 point behind Clean, 1 point behind NG Skoden. We are running a tight race going into
And
game number 6, and Lust and
look,
Kant are not far behind.
and Lust, off the back of winning our previous map, have only been able to bring themselves up to 6th place. And then, as you saw from there, again, 1 point separating them from Kant, and then Angelite, not too far behind, and then Phantom. Like, literally, there's that 3 point divide between, Kieto and Lust. And then, aside from that, the top 9 is literally all just 1 point separated from each other.
Yeah, it is literally our top 9 are within 10 points of each other, which is crazy going into a final game.
And then, we take a little bit further down. We look at the next 3 teams: Meowth, Addicted, and No Magic. Uh, 2 of those teams are not going to be making it into the top 10 after this one, which is really sad considering that, like, all 3 of them have had these moments of brilliance where they have either been, uh, close to the winning situation, or they've had these really strong plays that you would think would, have them in better favor right now. But no, it's just too tight. There's just no room for you at the top. I am sorry. No matter how good you are, you're 1 point too shy of being good enough, I suppose.
Yeah, just really, really close race. I'm very curious now how things are going to shape up, because the pressure is on. There is so much pressure on so many teams to have a pop off game to just run home with the win today.
And I think there's also a fair bit of pressure for teams like Boobies and XOXO to get a kill today, because both of them are still killless this far in. It's really bloody up at the top, and at the bottom, it's just minnows for the Sharks to be feasting upon. And unfortunately, Boobies and XO are those minnows. They need to try and bite back a little bit, at the very least, just remind themselves that they are capable of it. Because we saw both of these teams. Actually, I think XOXO might be a newer team. We saw Boobies last week, and they were playing a lot better than this. We do know that they still have some improvements that they need to make, but we saw that they are capable of adapting on the fly, and they are capable of making those adjustments. We're still seeing the first of XOXO, and it would be nice to see, what makes this team special, because we know there is something, but they just haven't been able to show us today.
That says we are going to get a restart here real quick, going into our final game. But honestly, I can't ask for a better day today, because we have had just ups and downs for everybody. We're not going into a game 6 with one team far ahead of everybody else. There is so many teams that could just pop off in this last game and run away with the whole thing.
I just love how, like, the only team in, like, the top 3 that has gotten a win today is Clean. The other 4 teams that have won are all in places 5 through 9. Which is just, like, that's just not okay for a score. And I guess, you do have to try and you do have to credit a lot of that to, again, as we had in the past, teams like Solus and teams like NG Skoden, who maybe, sure, they haven't been the ones with their hands raised at the end of the show, but they have still been taking a lot of hands, all over. The KP for these teams off the charts. 30 kills collectively for NG Skoden, 28 for Solus across all of our maps here. And actually, looking around, it's still really bloody. 33 overall for Legacy. They've been kind of quiet, but they've also been having another just bloodbath.
Yeah, it is. Man, I'm just looking at this and I'm like, who's going to win today? And I could not tell you. It's the problem. Even if we do see a team do well, the question now becomes like, was it 1 point better than the team next to them?
I I think, if any of the teams that are in our top 10 win our last map of E District, it very well might be them, but who's even to say? Because Lust, they win that map, and it's only enough to take them into sixth place, like we said, like not even breaking top 5, which is that kind of stings. It feels like you worked so hard all for not nothing, but almost nothing. And I think that they're not even the first team to get a win and not even be able to crack up to the top of the leaderboards, because it was Solus sitting up there for so long. So
Mm.
like realistically, anyone in our top 9, if they walk out with the dub, I think it could be them, but nothing is guaranteed in this world. You are owed nothing and you will get less than you deserve.
Yeah, it is. It is now. I mean, for what it is worth, all these teams, their destiny is up to them. If they win, they go home winning the whole thing. So
I have a
they've got
I
to
have a
be able to do
question.
something.
I
Uh
have a question for you. In your opinion, though, in a situation where things are this tight, we saw people playing really carefully. Like every team is playing really, really carefully on E District. Do we see that again, even from some of these teams who got to where they are based on their aggression, or do you think they double down and just stay up to their old tricks? Like, do you think
they double down.
Solus? You think Solus is going to double down? You don't think they're going to like slow their pace up even a little bit?
Okay. Solus might slow their pace up, but that's because they're a team that is capable of playing that slower pace. I think teams like Kieto, NG Skoden, teams like Legacy that are just very high tempo, kill heavy teams, they're gonna play their game and they're just gonna hope that it works.
I want to say I hope that it works, but it can't possibly work for all of them. It can only, at the end of the day, really work for one of them. And we only have one more map to find out. And we do have a game. We've got a lobby ready to go. We had a couple resets going through, but we finally gotten everybody in there ready to go. Everyone's got their legends, and we are about to drop into our final map. It is E District. Let's see how we close things out today.
Dropping in now. Hopefully here we can see our ring, and I'm curious where our ring's gonna go because that could be a massive game changer depending on where that starts to pool and where these teams have landed. Because again, reminder, these teams are landing in random POIs. There is not a claimed POI for them. They have to work with what they got.
Well, it looks like it's going to be somewhere towards that southeastern corner of the map. I do kind of want to highlight teams like Kieto, who are one of our teams in that top 9 that could potentially make a big play. They have a pretty wide open playing field right now. Not a whole lot of other teams in their vicinity. There is clean on that rotation towards that ring that might present a problem. So a duel between them is going to be something to keep a close eye on. We have Addicted, a team that's kind of towards that lower end, but could be threatening to punch up and break into that top 10, that also kind of has things sort of wide open and could even play gatekeepers to those around, like Meowth, another team that is just outside of that top 10. And then as you have a look in the ring, that's where basically all of our top dogs or would-be top dogs are currently residing. I think this is setting up to be a very, very interesting E-District.
Legacy doing their norm, which is to loot quickly and move right in. They will get spotted thanks to a Sparrow scan. But Legacy will not be deterred. They want their KP and they want it early.
And they do know that there is that other team here. They had a scan of their own, courtesy of Narumi, so it's just a matter of either keeping them on their heels and staying close, or finding the kills and getting them. We're gonna have Izzy going for this this Evo harvest here, and then a nice little alter TP in through the wall. Maybe cut this other team off at the pass. We'll have to see who it is. But Izzy walked into the wrong neighborhood, didn't check that corner, is gonna get checked for troubles here. And now Legacy are split. Two on one side and one on the other. They're gonna be able to take down Ellie. This is Angelite that they are fighting.
Ellie going down is massive. See if Legacy decide to go all in, and if I know going to want to take the fight after that knock, especially they can recognize that is Angelite. Currently taking a look here with the charge rifle, not going to pull the trigger just yet, but they won't see anybody. Angelite might be able to survive this.
Being able to get that kill though and still being on full strength. I mean, yeah, like Legacy will, like you said, get up to their old tricks. They want to try and get this KP quickly. Gonna invest that Ashe teleport, get in right on top of where they think this squad is going to be, keep the fight going and keep moving. As we see the kill feeds slowly ticking up one by one, but again, no squad wipes coming out as well. I think a lot of these teams outside of the likes of Legacy and Solus are doing, as I said, and playing very carefully, but it's gonna be anything but carefulness coming out from the likes of Legacy and from the likes of Addicted as well, as they're already doing a little bit of poking, a little bit of scouting, trying to find their next move.
Addicted getting hit themselves here. Lady Pexi gonna back away to heal up, and Addicted will group up as a squad. See where they can go next. Lots of slow play so far this game.
Addicted currently sitting at 11th place. If they want to find their way into that top 10, which with a player the likes of Sabs on your team, you definitely deserve to be in that top 10 spot, but deserved isn't good enough. You got to earn that. And Lust are also having to earn their spot in this top 10, which is definitely not permanent at all. Very finite, if anyone has anything to say about it. They've already lost Renee. Jay taking a lot of damage here is going to have to be forced to try and teleport away, but that was the wrong direction. The team was the other way. We're going to have Scarlet able to get the Ashe TP out, but this is already disastrous for Lust. You've lost 2 of your heaviest hitters, and only the Ashe is going to remain. It's going to be really difficult to try and get that one back in fighting form.
Unfortunate stuff there. EXO in the middle of a fight themselves. Gonna Wraith port out of there. Sorry, Wraith Q out of there. Cammy looking around for the angles here. We'll just pick up what is left of the death box. And EXO gonna stabilize themselves for right now.
This is our last place team, by the way, so their odds of making it into the top 10, not very likely for EXO, but they can absolutely play spoilers for some of the teams that do want to try and make it in there and make their presence felt. They are a special team. They got here for a reason. They are here for a reason, and if they show us why, they might be showing someone the door. Slick Moons down their lifeline. Need to try and find a res here. We're still at 20 squads. There's still plenty of time to find a nice res. There's still plenty of places to do it, but there are other people in town, and you got to proceed with caution.
Legacy picking up what has been left behind for them. They're already inside this ring, and I imagine they're going to go on prowl for a little bit more KP. Still, all of our squads up right now. 54 players alive, so there's a couple squads looking to get their respawns.
It's another situation like what we saw in the first round of World's Edge, where a lot of these teams are using the utility of their team comp to try and, you know, do a little bit of scouting, do a little bit of recon, but getting punished for their hubris. And if their altar can't make it back to the Void Nexus, or you can't get that Ashe TP out, like, you're just cooked. And, you know, sure, you're not going to get a full squad wipe off the back of that, but again, it's free KP, and you are severely hindering other teams' chances of making it to that final ring and getting themselves in a good place, because they have to try and find a place to get the res. They got to be sneaky. They got to play slow. They can't get into the positions that they want when they want them. And E-District is all about getting the right position at the right time. All of Apex is like that, but triply so on E-District. We know one team that will not be in the position they want to be, and that is Antidote.
Antidote going down clean, trying to stop themselves from the same fate. Got to port back over to their altar port, set up their caustic traps. And this is the thing with altar, you could just head back, throw a bunch of caustic traps, and make the fight better for you regardless of if that team decides to come back or not.
I mean, and for most teams, they know that this threat is lurking, so the answer is going to be not. We don't want to take this because we know there's going to be caustic gas waiting on the other side, especially if we saw caustic in the fight. And on a map like E-District, you know, it's not going to be a situation like Stormpoint where more of these teams want to play aggressive. Sure, you have a lot of these aggressive teams, but more so, you're going to want to lean in towards the caustic, because like we said, it's all about getting the right spot and holding it, and the best way to do that right now in the current state of the game is with these caustic traps. But it's not going to be enough for No Magic, because they've already lost 2, and those caustic traps are going to be their only lifeline right now. Yoimono going to be the next team to fall. Miyuki is going to be able to get 1 pickup here, potentially the second as well. No Magic, not exactly in a great place, but hey, they are still living.
They're back up on their feet, and that is the most important part here. They do not have a lot of heals. We're hitting the syringes for Miyuki. Has 1 syringe left. That is not going to get her back up to full HP.
One more in the back pocket, and now suddenly we're just gonna be walking around with this flesh wound, and hopefully nobody notices. Quieto looking to apply a few more flesh wounds here. They see the caustic gas. They see the team in here. They know that there is the potentiality of taking this building for their own. XOXO gonna be the next one to fall in the kill feed, and Quieto, I think, are sitting in a real good spot as we head back over to them. There we go. Oh, okay, wait, we see that caustic now. Gonna detonate the barrel. See if we can find our way in, and Quieto gonna drop a couple barrels of their own. Mindy also drops, and that's real rough for Quieto. It's gonna be difficult to get out here, but the PK shots now bringing out from Cam, and no magic, just instantly vanish.
Beautiful stuff there, but Mandy will go down. Quieto get their win on the fight, but they lose a little bit in the process. Huge win, though, for Quieto. They've just got to find a way to get their third back on the field.
There's a res beacon not too far away, so it shouldn't be too difficult as long as they can keep out of sight and not attract too many attention, risk getting thirded while they are weak. Clean, speaking of weak, are about to be just that. His Incep is going to be knocked there, but they're able to trade that one out. Lena with a big shot with the PK there, and Oatmeal Cookie has got one of her own. The damage ringing out. The reload has to come through, but 108, it's not enough.
Took a little bit too long to line up the shot, and Lena, realizing nobody is coming back with her, will have to walk away alone and see what she can do.
Without those banners, it's not going to be a whole lot. BBS with a little bit of a skyward drop off the balloon there. This is that team that brought that Fuse Newcastle composition to the forefront, and it's gotten them at least this far into the top 15, but we got to wait for the herd to be cold a little bit more before we can really say that this was a success. A couple more kills under the belt, maybe they could do just that, but so far, no real damage on the side of this squad. They've just been trying to play for positioning, and I don't hate that on E-District. But this positioning is a bit of a rough one, as you can already see. Yeah, they're making a couple pings. They know this neighborhood is going to start to get real populated real fast, and it's already got squatters in every building.
High ground is in favor of BBS, but they've got another squad to worry about inside that building. So BBS may be realizing this is not the place to be. We're going to make our way back over to the ring, back over towards where we came from.
That's, once again, the Void Nexus. A lot of these teams still doing that scouting technique. They know they can get away with it. And even if BBS are doing it as a full squad, they do know they still have that exit. You can see that through the walls there. And Angelite, speaking of walls, almost looked like Fishy had them there with that shot nearly. I mean, if the charge rifle could wall bang, it would have been a different, completely different game altogether.
Respawn, I know you're listening. Respawn, I know you're listening. Please, I need the charge rifle to be able to do that.
Yeah, please, yeah, that'd be the best thing you can do to this game.
I love the charge rifle, man. I want to one-tap people through walls. I think that'd be really fun.
I mean, that's the last thing that any of these teams need is E-District is already such a death trap, especially when things get all the more congested like they currently are. The last thing you need is just to not even feel like the walls are safe. But as Legacy, can go ahead and try and break the walls down with that EMP. Is he trying to find that right angle of approach? Has the PK, has the... Oh, I was going to say has the shots ready and to go, but sees the outlines through the wall, knows it's a little bit rough to go for that one, so we're going to go around the other side, hit a couple shots there. We have both ports up if we need them, but it's risky to take it, so looks like Void Nexus is going to be the answer, especially when we're risking getting thirded.
Winnie does get back. This is so scary right now. So many teams. There's so many teams that have gotten into good positions, but they're so scared to do anything.
Well, Addicted may have just gotten into the best position because they should be able to get access to this high ground. I don't know if there's another team up there or not, but if they are able to get up on this roof safely, I think it looks good for them, especially considering where the ring is going to be pulling. And on E-District high ground, verticality is the best thing you could possibly have, more so than on any other map right now. And Quieto are definitely not on any high ground right now. Mindy looking for the way up, and out here back on Terra Firma is where the fight is going to be happening. Clean is going to be cleaned up themselves, and Quieto going to avoid Nexus themselves back out. Again, we go in, we realize it's too hot, and we get on back out. That's been enough to keep 13 teams still up in the game for now.
A lot of very quick altar portal usage. These teams are immediately pulling the trigger on that. You can feel the tension built up as these teams don't want to go down just yet. Cereza tanks some damage, gonna hit the shield bat, should be a-okay. Cam doing the same, the caustic gas.
Kieto fought so hard for this position, and it's not a great one because in under a minute, they're going to be forced to move, and it's round 4. They're going to have to move fast. Kieto, though, making some moves there as Cam goes up onto that high ground with the PK shots ringing out. Big damage. And we enough to get a full fin there, I believe. And with that next PK shot, there we go. Cam right on the money, and BBS are going to be the next ones sent back to the lobby.
Unfortunate exit for them as now we are down to 12 squads, and look at how tight it is right now. Look at how close these teams are right by each other.
Look at Kieto, though, nowhere near the rest of them. They've got a big, they've got a lot of line of sight over the rest of this map right now, but there's not a whole lot that they can realistically do with it because they're going to have to start moving. This round's going to close in about 3 seconds, and they have to try and find their way into the ring, and it's going to be rough because they're gonna have to go through Kent and then this absolute death trap on the south side of the ring where so many of our top teams are fighting for their very lives, and Licks are not going to be getting out with theirs.
Licks go down, 11 squads remaining, one of them being Solus, one of our top teams. They've been in first place once today. They want to close out with it. Nade gonna hit a little bit of damage as Kree walks up for the fight. Solus can't take this, though. There's too many people. Good shots on the drone. Wasn't aiming for the drone, but good shots on it nonetheless.
I mean, I think that's why they were hesitant to try and follow up on those nades. They heard that drone, and they know there's another team behind them somewhere. But now they're in a bit of a pinch position here where they have to try and make a move. And the ring is at their back. It's going to force them to try and make that move now. Whatever team had that drone, they have to face them. Great TP going to come out. They should be able to rotate with that as Meow falls. NG Skoden, that was our #1 team. They are now out of the running. And okay, we're porting right into the belly of the beast, aren't we?
Solus going right into the fight here. Kree is gone, and Solus have to back away for their own good. We'll grab the banner. They have a respawn beacon. Can they get this off safely, though, is the question. Look at Angelite, too, down to a single member.
Yeah, definitely praying for a little bit of safety of her own right now is Ellie. See if the res is going to be able to come out for Angelite. It's going to be no res coming out for Kieto as they're going to be the next ones out of the running. But we still have a lot of heavy hitters in the lobby as we're down to 8. Lust still in the fight. Solus, despite taking heavy losses, still in the fight. Angelite, despite being down to just Ellie, still in the fight. So we're going to have to see who ends up flinching first. There is still a lot on the line here. A lot of these teams
killed. Solus lose Kyrie.
That's going to be real rough for Solus. It goes from bad to worse for them, as I believe that puts them down to just one singular rat. Now that's 2 of our strongest teams that are going to be forced to rat from here on out.
Phantom, one of those teams in the top area of the standings, going to have to move as well. And can they find a way to do that safely? Solus are eliminated in 8th place.
Yeah, that race portal really, it didn't bear immediate problems for them, but it definitely did bear some lasting ones. And Phantom are going to be making a lasting impression as they're able to get that knock there onto Dissy. Ali sees those caustic barrels, doesn't want to go in too aggressively, wants to make sure we check every corner as this approach is as safe as possible. Creeping barrage to cover their backs. Ain't no one thirding this today if Phantom have anything to say about it.
Alter Port gets that team out of there. Phantom realizes there's another team in front of them, and now Phantom, they're inside the ring, but how do you this area without losing your life in the process?
It's gonna be high ground, and yeah, we're trying to get it. Angelite is actually gonna fall. Ellie elsewhere gets taken down. Poetic also the next to fall. 5 squads left, and Phantom, they tried to take this high ground and took so much heavy losses off the back of it. It's addicted up on this height, and I love this angle for this squad. We needed to see big plays from them, and this is exactly what we're talking about. The leadership has put them in one of the best possible positions to close this one out. You just have to make sure you do as much damage as you can and close it out here. They should be able to put Phantom to rest here. The damage ringing out. They're dropping down. Envy wants to try and clean this one up. Lady Pexy is cracked, but a crack coming up from Sabs up on the high ground. The Hemlock damage ringing out, and Addicted. They haven't been able to find the kills just yet, but they have absolutely made everyone fear their very names.
Phantom eliminated. We're down to 4 squads. Legacy is one of them. Addicted is another. We don't know who the other 2 squads are just yet.
but I'm sure we'll be seeing them in the obituaries if either Legacy or Addicted have anything to say about it. We know where Legacy currently is. We know what position that Addicted is holding, and now we know that Kent is one of these other teams. And they are in a bit of a rough spot here. They're nice and looted up. They've got the PKs, but they're going to have to come out of this tiny little building eventually. And with that drone there, someone knows that they are here. Using process of elimination, I believe one of the other crypto teams might have been Addicted. I might be wrong on that front, but whoever it is certainly is going to force a move out of Kant before long.
Addicted are very far down the scoreboard. Them winning this does make things very, very interesting. Because
as if they weren't interesting enough already.
Yeah.
Now. We just can't throw a big wrench in the equation.
Lust looking out, throwing out the smoke as well. Things building up here as the final ring begins to close. Still 4 squads up, still full 3 squads.
Damage coming out here onto Lust from the high ground. That's absolutely coming from Sabs up there on the high ground alongside Addicted. But Lust with the smokes should still be able to make this rotation relatively safely. Jay takes a fair bit of damage here. A little bit more coming out. It's a rough spot to be in. Addicted have the best spot though, but Cons aren't going to be making any moves here. Lust got too aggressive and Addicted take them out, and with the high ground, this should be all Addicted all the time. They might have finally woken at just the right time as Envy lets the shots ring out from on high. The Watson fences just protecting their throne. The Queens of the castle, the altar teleport coming through, but just getting launched off into the ether there. Addicted are looking to close this one out. It's Legacy that they're fighting with, and they have gotten 2 knocks. They're going to lose Envy, but they are going to gain everything as they will be the champions on our final map of the day.
Beautiful play from Addicted. That is the veterancy that we have been looking for from them all day. Take the final game and put themselves as relevant in this conversation. Now, granted, I don't think Addicted were able to get to first place. However, they did make it competitive now.
And I would say it was competitive throughout all of our top 9 teams because they all were in for a relatively long time and were getting a lot of KP all throughout. So realistically, there's still like 6 or 7 of them that could have ended up with the top spot unless that was an absolutely nuclear game from Addicted, because they come into this map in 11th place. And with that win, we know, exactly how much placement points they're going to get. But in terms of KP, well, we still got to tally that up and find out where it actually lands them. But that was a team in 11th place that has definitely gotten themselves a ticket to the top 10. But as far as where, we'll have to see, as we do have those scores ready. So let's find out where things ended up. And it's going to be...
It is going to be Legacy in first place at the end of it all. They were the 2nd place team in that final game, 66 points overall. Lust able to jump into 2nd, but not able to close the gap.
2nd place being good enough for Legacy, you'll absolutely take that. And some of the KP that they were able to get before getting there being enough to get them up to 66 points, a 5-point differential between themselves and Lust is, you'll take that. A win is a win, even if you don't come away with a map win. And speaking of map wins, Addicted getting that last map win only catapults them up a whopping 3 spots from 11th all the way up to 8th. They're going to oust Meowth from that top 10, and Angelite is going to be the cutoff. Our number 1 team just barely making that top 10 cut coming into week 2.
Yeah, unfortunate there for them, but still a great, exciting day for all of these teams here. The fact that we went into that game and it was so close, and we came out with an entirely different team outside of that top 9 winning and just making us go, I have no idea who actually wins.
Yeah, and it's like, it's totally different from last week because like last week, it felt like, we had like 3 or 4 teams that were those top dogs. We had, our Angelite, our Legacy, our Lust, and Solus as kind of like that big 4 who were putting on big performances and coming away with map wins last week. This week, it's chaos. It's all over the place. It's super competitive. And we have resurgences from the likes of NG Skoda. And even though it comes late in the day from the likes of Addicted, we have Clean and Kant also making these crazy plays, these gambits up for the top. And all four of those teams that I mentioned before, still relatively consistent. And even teams outside of that top 10 still come away with something to say, like something to say for themselves. Like
Mm.
Meowth and No Magic, Magic still had a second place finish, and they still had a fair bit of KP throughout the day as well.
Yeah, a lot of teams showed up today that did not show up last week, and vice versa. So interesting to see week to week. We are getting very different types of teams. And that just makes me more excited for the rest of the season as we go on. But that is all she wrote for us tonight. I want to thank you, CB, for being here. I want to thank you, Saki, for helping out on back end and making sure we're able to put on this show. I want to thank every single one of you guys watching. We will be back next week at the same time for week number 3. Make sure you're there and have a wonderful night.